obviously the Transfer Exchange Show. We are live, and we have Arsenal in the semi-final of the Champions League, Manchester United in the semi-final of the Europa League, and Tottenham Hotspur in the semi-final of the Europa League. What is going on? English teams dominant in Europe, showing their strength. Like underneath that paper is
Man, that's not even real paper. That's tracing paper. You can see through it, mate. You know what I mean? That's fucking paper. That is, mate. You can see straight.
You can say to a certain extent,
just see right through them cracks.
Right now, some massive cracks underneath. Glory that is currently looking in the face, which is the semi-final of both European competitions. But you should be looking up right now. Look, we can't go back. We can't turn back the time on the Premier League table. But you can look forward and hopefully look forward to a final of a European Cup as well. Ups and downs for Man United this week after getting through to the semi-finals in one of the most dramatic games you'll ever see. Forget whatever competition. This was unreal. One of the best games of football I've seen. In the end, Garth will tell you, I was even like cheering for Man United because it just felt right. It's like, come on, do you know what? The underdog right now. Come on, let's go. When Kobe Mano scored that equaliser, I was like, oh mate, this is on. So that was a thrilling game. And obviously, Arsenal, conquerors of the Santiago Bernabeu, still unbeaten against Real Madrid. We keep that 100% record. I know I actually love that.
Man United are the only unbeaten team in Europe. You know,
I can't believe that's what Man United. It is the Twilight Zone. Leeds promoted from the Championship. It was always going to be absolute nightmares for Man United fans as Leeds get promoted from the Championship. Liverpool win the Premier League.
No one cares about that. No one cares about that.
However,
nobody cares about Liverpool winning the Champions League. We'll just brush over that one.
Listen, the only thing I care about, lads, is as of after the weekend, Man United are now mathematically safe. So there's no relegation now. Look, we're mathematically safe. So that's all right. 17th, we can still finish, but we're not getting relegated.
You say that as like a joke. But when you're in that situation, and you're like, oh yeah, as if we're going to get relegated, and they actually say you can't get relegated. It's like, oh my god. Thank God.
And Arsenal's win over Ipswich kept Tottenham up. So you know, you go and do your Man City thing. You can go and do your Man City thing, you know, wanting to lose and all that. But you know, you're welcome.
We'll do your job for you, as you said to us 2 seasons ago.
We'll keep you in the top flight.
It is. Aston Villa in the Champions League. We'll be discussing that as well. Obviously, we spoke about Spurs and Manchester United in the Europa League. Man United's up and down, topsy-turvy. Season continues, and Arsenal finally get a win and score more than one goal in the Premier League. It's the first time, I think, in about 4 or 5 games against Ipswich Town. No surprise, it was the first start from Bukayo Saka in that game where we managed to score more than one goal in the Premier League. And of course, the transfer updates and the latest from Steve K. Well, first of all, how are you guys doing this week?
Yeah, good, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, good, mate. Good, mate. You know, school holidays end tomorrow, so let's go back to school.
I mean, reality. This is a different kind of podcast. Yeah.
But no, it's been good, mate. It's been good. Been good. As you say, the Bernabeu, you know, what can we more be asked for that? Yeah, you know, what's everything's already been said about that. So
it hasn't because it was last week, so we will be discussing it tonight. But first and foremost, where do we start? Let's start. Let's start with the league. We'll start with the league today because we want to get that space. No, we'll start with the league so you can finish on the
finish on the high.
Get through. All right.
Let's get it over with. Then come on.
All right. Man United lost to Wolves.
Yeah.
Go, take it away.
Do you know what? In all fairness, we didn't deserve to lose. It's the first time I can say that for a while. The Wolves had one shot on target. It was their free kick. It was a silly free kick to get away from Masrari. As soon as they stepped out, I was like, that's going in.
wasn't it?
Yeah, lovely free kick. So listen, like, I'm not saying Wolves didn't deserve to win, but we didn't deserve to lose. If we could finish, if Højlund was an inch longer in the leg, if Bruno was a little bit more sensible, if Mount could finish, like, we had our chance. So it was actually a better game than I've seen in a long time from Man United in the league. So I'm not that disappointed. It's still another defeat. I think we've only had 9 points in the last 10 games or something in the league for Man United, which is just unacceptable, obviously. We've only won like 2 games, I think, in the last whatever it is, and that's Ipswich and Leicester or something crazy like that. So, yeah, it's one of them. It's one of them. We've got to finish your chances. You don't finish your chances, you lose. Bottom line, isn't it? You know what I mean? If you don't put the ball in the onion bag, like, it is what it is. So, but the signs are there. The shoots of regrowth are there, I suppose. We weren't playing our best players either. Not that that's an excuse, because we still should add enough on the pitch really to beat Wolves. But a couple of highlights: Harry Amos looking decent in the left wing back position for an 18-year-old, looking good. Tyler Fredrickson, debut, 20 years old, been a prospect, but nothing major, but just been spoken about for a while. So he looked pretty decent as well. Kobe Mano getting more minutes. So, yeah, disappointing to lose another game, but I'm not going to dig them out too much about, I mean, again, Man fans are getting a little silly now, but like, if you see this here, the picture, can you see how Onana is weight on the right leg?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that in the picture. A lot of people have been like digging him out for that. It was top bins. You're not safe. It's top bins, lads. I'm first to dig out Onana.
Looking at that, the wall is there to cover one side. He's there to cover the other side.
Yeah,
like, it gets silly when people start going, "Oh, the right leg. How's he meant to jump off? How do you leap? How do you spring? Do you run off your left leg?" And this comes from people that haven't touched grass, certainly haven't played football, making a statement like that. Oh, look at his right leg. Yeah, how do you move?
It's nonsense.
From a place of ignorance.
It's coming from a place of frustration and ignorance, because obviously this is, like I say, the first man to dig out Onana when he's done something wrong. The first man to do it, but yeah, nothing wrong with that one. In fact, he pulled out a couple of lovely saves in that game as well. So yeah, just one of them. Like, it's literally just one of them. Like, it was a dead game. I don't know if you watched the Wolves game. Did you? Man United Wolves? I suppose Arsenal played at the same time.
No, same time, mate.
Yeah. So it was just, yeah. I didn't get out of the Europa League because these Sunday afternoon games, once I've had a roast dinner, mate, I'm like on the sofa, like, desperately trying to keep my eyes awake, like just falling asleep, couple of beers, massive roast, and I'm like, no, I can't do it like that. Just drift, Like, so yeah, they need to get back in the Champions League so I can have Sundays back, mate. That's what I need. So, look, the performance was all right. Bruno was a bit lackadaisical yesterday, but only come on for the last half hour. Ericsson, he ain't got the pace to play in the centre midfield. It's the same old. It's the same old. We haven't got the personnel that we need at the moment. It's going to be a big summer transfer window for Amorim. Big, because it's going to make or break him. There's no two ways about it. Ineos, not just Ineos, the board, Amorim, they need to get it right. They need to identify the targets they want, and they need to go and get them. Let's not talk about any silliness. I keep hearing Man United fans talk about this, like I said last week, Florian Wirtz, get your head out the clouds. Get your head out the clouds, lads. Like, you know what I mean? If Florian Wirtz is available, then you'll be going Real Madrid. It'll be going, you know what I mean? People will want Florian Wirtz. Like I said, Man United can get anyone as long as there isn't teams in the Champions League after that player. Because then obviously, you know what I mean? If Real Madrid come knocking at the moment, what are you going to do? Go Man United or Real Madrid? Real Madrid. That, you know what I mean? You're going to go Arsenal or Man United? You're going to go Arsenal. So, yeah, get your head out of the clouds. We need to buy sensibly. We need to improve the squad so that he's got what he needs come next year. Mount's back. Hopefully he can stay fit. Sure. Luke Shaw looked like he ate another player. I don't know what's going on. That geezer is carrying at least an extra stone. That's, yeah. One of them. It is one of them. I can't dig him out too much. It was just a boring, nothing game. The players aren't good enough.
Just on the stats. 12 shots on goal, 2 on target, 60% possession. Like you said, it was clear that you had most of the game. What is it you're missing? Is it just that bit of quality in front of goal? Or is it a little bit more than that?
It's more than that. It's confidence. I reckon a confident Rasmus Højlund gets his toe on that. You know what I mean? Like, it's confidence at the moment. He's like, I said it when we signed Rasmus Højlund. I wasn't happy at the time, if you remember. I didn't want a 20-year-old leading our line. Mm-hmm. And I hate to say I've been proven right. We've broken the man. Like, we've broken him. He's a shadow. You know, when you actually dig into Rasmus Højlund's stats, he was one of the top goal scorers in the Champions League last year. He's bagged a few in the Europa League this year. He had a run of 8 goals in the game, but we're asking him to do too much, and we've got no one else to back him up. Like, so we've broken him. And then you go into the midfield, and we're still counting on Christian Eriksen. No disrespect to the man; he's a quality bowler. Legs are gone. You know, you look out like, we're missing quite a bit in defence at the moment as well, with Martinez down, De Ligt down, Heaven obviously out at the moment as well. So, yeah, it's more than just, we need better players definitely, but there's also a confidence thing, and I'm hoping. Obviously, this is just pure hope that with the pre-season, with the players coming in with a full pre-season for Amorim to drill them, we'll see a better Man United next year. But because it's been so bad this year, he ain't going to have long. You know what I mean? Only take 7 points at your first 6 games. I got a feeling he might not make it to the end of the season. So he's got. That's what I mean. It's a big window for him. He's got to figure out a way to get these boys' confidence back up, the belief up, and to buy into the system. So. Yeah, but I am seeing green shoots. You can see that players are slowly figuring it out. But yeah, it's more than just cutting edge up top. It really is.
Yeah, it's Man United. You feel like they need to be patient here, and it's not about chopping and changing. They just stick it through with Amorim. I know the results aren't going his way, but Amorim, he didn't really want to come in this early. I think he wanted to wait until the end of the season, didn't he? And start fresh in the summer. But so should Man United be a little bit understanding about this run that he's been in?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think we spoke about it, you know, many times. I mean, Garth's alluded to the situation that Man United in. You know, they're in a bad way, a very bad way. And Garth just spoke there, and he's right in saying that, you know, it seems that Ineos, you know, if Amorim doesn't get something going, you know, the beginning of up to Christmas, he could, you know, it may very well, and I don't see no change, he could be on his way. Personally, I find it mad. I think it's crazy. I just personally feel he just needs time. Just needs to be left alone. He's, you know, we all know Man United, the biggest club in Europe, in the world, certainly the biggest club in English football. But you personally, for me, you do have to sort of like take yourself away from that for the minute, or the board have to take themselves away from that for the minute and just look at where they are and the position they're in, and give the guy time and give him some time. And as long as you're seeing some kind of progression, yeah, I mean, Garth and Man United fans, they all have the different idea of what that progression is and what they want to be. Mm-hmm. But from where they are at the moment, you just want to see, forget league tables and where they are. This is next season I'm talking about. Just get some players in the summer, which look is going to be, you know, very awkward, very hard. There's so many different aspects that has to happen, things that have to, you know, go your way for a transfer to happen. You know, the guys at Ineos could sort of, you know, they could target a player. I want him, and he could be the right man. And Amorim could say, yes, he's the right man. We want him. We're going for him. But there's so much else, you know, that needs to happen. Just because they want that player and they target him and they want him, and it goes for every club. That don't mean they're going to get him. So do you blame Amorim and the board for that? No, you can't. Mm. So until United start winning games and progressing, and confidence starts coming into the players, some of them that are already there, that's going to take a long time. And Garth's mentioned, you know, and he feels, and I don't really know because I don't know what they're thinking, but, you know, Garth says that, you know, and he's probably right, that they feel that by Christmas next year, if he's not around, if he's not doing it, if he's still struggling like he is now, and the new players he's brought in are taking longer to settle in on what he could, and the ones that they target, and the ones they wanted to go somewhere else, like Garth alluded to. There might be players that want to go for players that are up for it. It's so much. So yes, definitely, mate. Definitely, he needs time. Definitely, in my mind, he needs to be left alone. For me, I just think if I was Ineos, you know, as long as you're seeing some kind of progression in the style of play and you're winning a few more games, then just leave him alone. Leave him alone. You know, don't.
Yeah, but that's the big point, Steve. Because at the moment it's relegation form. What he's producing with this team at the moment is relegation form. If you see that, see that for the next 8 games at the start of the next season, after he's got his players in, he ain't going to last because you can't. Because honestly, at the moment, you look at our stats, Steve, like it is abysmal form. It's not
absolutely, mate.
But so the point you're making, there needs, if there's progression, if we're seeing us not lose to the lower league teams at home, you know what I mean? If the defense is shored up, so on and so on. But if it's like this, like what we're seeing right now, then they can't have to end of the season.
I mean, if you're sitting 4th, 5th from bottom by Christmas type of thing, then
exactly.
See you later. If you're sitting 10th or 11th,
it's different. Yeah, it's different.
It's different. It's progress. It's better than what you had where you are now. But
100%.
And let's just hope that, you know, Ineos and that can see that, and then they can progress, and then it'll go into January, and then you maybe get somewhere else, and then we'll go into next summer, and then it'll progress a bit more.
Exactly.
But I just don't, you know, I'm seeing like people I know other Man United fans. I talk to them, you know, and they're on, you know, they're turning. They seem to be turning a little bit, you know, on him. You know, they seem to be turning.
I can understand it, Steve.
And I'm like, come on, man. What are you going to do? Go back to the way you was, bring someone else in, and then you could start. You can't keep on starting over and over again all the time, and then doing it.
I agree, but I can understand why some Man United fans. Like, I'm not there at all. I think he's a man that can sort this out. But I can fully understand why less patient Man United fans are already turning on him. Because honestly, I mean, I haven't got the stats to hand, but it is disgusting. Like his actual, and what everyone says, you know what I mean? It wasn't this bad on Solskjaer. It wasn't this bad under 10 R. You know, we were Champions League teams under there. At the moment, he is failing. There's no two ways about it. He's failing. So anyone can get this team working. Sorry, get gone.
So, because by bringing in Amorim and his complete change of formation and system, is that not a massive risk for Man United? If they've got that mindset, if it's not going well at the start of the season and they panic and they get rid of him, surely they've got to have someone else in mind who has got a similar way of managing.
I don't think so, because Amorim's system is so outlandish, isn't it? Like most footballers all through their life will be playing 4 at the back and a combination of the 3-3 up front. So I don't think it'll be too much of a culture shock for. I know where you're coming from. Yeah, but no, I don't think it'll be too much of a culture shock for the players to revert back to a different system. In my mind, anyway, I could be very wrong, because apart from the wing backs, there's no which you can play as the wingers. You know what I mean, like that. Dorgu could definitely play as a winger. You know what I mean, like I don't really think anyone's apart from the system, which will take a little bit of time to get back. Like, I don't think anyone's going to be too shook by reverting to a 4 at the back. You know what I mean, 3-3. However you play the 3-3, 2-4-1, or you know what I mean, 2-3-1, whatever.
One thing you do get with new managers is they see a different type of player when it comes to bringing through players in the youth system. You mentioned Harry Amos looking like a little stocky Luke Shaw in the both games he played, and he obviously played in the weekend. Is this player that you feel could have a future at Man United, or is there still a lot to learn from him? He seems very, very courageous. He seems like he wants to get on the ball, which is always a good thing for a youngster.
Amos has been hyped up's the wrong word. It has been spoken about for a while now. Like 18 years old, just turned 18 as well, a couple of months ago, I think. Like, he's been spoken about as being ready for about a year now, and it actually begs the question: when we were dying on our ass without a left back last year, why Ten Hag didn't give minutes? like because we all knew about him. You know what I mean? It's no secret we had this left back in the youth team. Like no secret at all. Like so, no, I think. I mean, listen, he ain't on the level of a Lewis Skelly and Wari. He ain't that sort of youth player, but he's definitely a. You know, I mean, like it could easily be a solid player for Man United for years to come. Definitely, if we give him the minutes that he needs. What I don't want to see is Luke Shaw get back in there all of a sudden. Like, I feel like we need to be done with Luke Shaw now. It's a different conversation. I love me some Luke Shaw. I feel for him. It worked like he wasn't injury prone until he had the double leg break from the Mexican fella against PSV. I forget what his name is. Herzog. Yeah, Herzog. I feel for him, but ever since then, he's been one of the most injury prone players of all time. So he's got two years left on his contract. Have him as a backup. Give these kids the minutes. You know what I mean? We've got Dorgu now, 20. We've got Yoro, 19. Don't be reverting to Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire. You know what I mean? Christian Eriksen, although he's gone in the summer. Like, be brave. That's what I'd say to him. Like, I know it's easy to say sitting here, but be brave. Put them in there because we're not getting anything out of these old dogs. Give the young pups a go. Now, I'm not usually like that, as you know, but we're safe from relegation now for the next 4 or 5 games to the end of the season, whatever it is, 6 games. Give the youngsters a go. Just give them a go because it can't be any worse than what we're seeing right now. So definitely got potential. Tyler Fredrickson, I don't think. I mean, he's 20 now, nearly 21. He was hyped for a couple of years, but I've got a feeling he'll be one that'll be like a Middlesbrough or something. You know what I mean? Next year, Cardiff. You know what I mean? Like no disrespect. Again, these are still top quality professional, and these are big enough clubs. But I don't see him being a Premier League player, to be quite, or it'll be a one that goes up and down. You know what I mean? And then maybe when he's 27 out of nowhere, it'll be like Everton, like Tyler Fredrickson's all right. 15 mil, bring him in. You know what I mean? He has his best years. He has his best years for then. So but we've got enough. We've got the 2 kids we took from you. Like I say, we've got Yoro. We've got Amas. We've got we've got some real talent that like 17-year-olds that aren't quite ready yet as well coming through. There's the I can never pronounce it, Igbomovic or whatever it is, like who looks well good. We've got that Shea Lacey that looks well. Like there's a couple. So give them their time. Let's see what they can do. And basically, it's reset next year, isn't it? Is this how you boys were like after Arteta's first 6 months in charge? After like from when he came into Christmas, it was just like
we were 8, weren't we? We was 8.
Another season of pain, mate. Like,
but I mean, at the end, you reset. We're just going again. You know what I mean? At the end of that first season.
You mean like forget what's just happened? Yeah. To a certain extent, but this is what I'm saying. We were made it very clear in the summer of that second season, there's no money. Like there was no money. We were trying to get back Danny Ceballos on loan for it again. It was getting back. David Luiz? Like it was that. It was Cedric. Cedric ain't bad, you know. Mari. He's all right. He's all right. Like we were still in those times, mate. It was dire straits. And then it was the second and a half season. Yeah,
Jack Wilshere can come back. You know,
where we came 5th, and that was enjoyable. At the end of that, in the end of the second season, where we came 8th, you could see something. It was like, this is it. And I'm standing there like a madman with a tin hat, and Steve's there with his tin hat, and we're telling all the Arsenal fans to keep calm. Keep calm. There's a change coming. There's a change coming. So.
And that's what I think next season's what Man United's next season's got to be, where you go, whoa, hold on a minute, see some change here.
And it was a little bit like you said, like it was you're beating the teams not the teams you should be beating, because you should be beating like at the time it would have been like the Leicesters that you're still struggling with and the West Hams that you're still struggling with, but you're beating the teams that have just come up from the Championship. You're beating the bottom half teams. You're beating them. It's when you're coming up against the established like average Premier League teams that are having a decent season, the Brightons, the West Ham, the Leicesters, the Wolves, they start becoming a struggle, and you're like, is this going to end? And then people are saying you're those teams.
It's going to be so hard. I feel sorry for Amorim. Do you know what I mean? It's such an hard job he's come into, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I know we're looking at him, and we you know, you said like Garth said, you know, he sees mistakes and he, you know, things like that. But he's got like a difficult job, and he's some people say he's too honest, you know, about where Man United are, but I don't mind that. I think it's good that he comes out and says it how it is. I know he's got a lot of stick off a lot of, fellow Man United pros that, why is he saying this? Why is he saying that? And but he's honest. I like him because he's honest, an honest manager. I mean, that second season you spoke about Arteta, that's when he come out with do you remember the non-negotiable speech? What I say goes. If you don't like it, it's non-negotiable and you can just go. And me and you was like, yes! Finally, because we had all this Lacazette and the Aubameyang giving it all the math, Guendouzi giving it all the math, and the press and the journalists was asking him all the questions. Why is he doing it? All of that. And he was just, look, if they don't like what I do, if they don't like what I say, and I don't play them, then they should just go and do one, literally. And we was like, we've got the guy here. We've got the right man. And Emery has done that a bit.
It needed that.
Yeah, Emery's already done that with Rashford. That's literally what happened with Rashford, isn't it? So.
Exactly. Yeah.
And at the end of the day on that, like whatever people think, Rashford wasn't doing anything at Manchester United for a while. It weren't just Emery. He wasn't doing anything under Ten Hag in the end. Like he's formed, although Solskjaer was getting had seemed to have got the best out of him at the time, and it looked like he was still doing well. By the end of that, even he's dipped. Like, so it's not just an Amorim thing. And at the end of the day, you're going to get money for Rashford if he doesn't stay at Man United. Even though, from what Amorim was saying, I think the other day, it looked like he's thrown out an olive branch, maybe, or whether that might be a tactical reason to get some more money out of the transfer market and show that actually we do want to keep him.
It's just the only thing with that, mate. If I'm a Man United fan, I'm thinking I'd love, obviously, Garth, you'd love Rashford back, wouldn't you? Playing to somewhere near his best. But the problem with Emery, it just doesn't fit the system, does he, Garth?
No.
Unless you're playing through the centre, which at the moment I would, but I don't like him through the centre. It depends. It really depends because you could. I don't think there's a place for him there personally, but you could play with one of the 10s where he drifts out wide.
Yeah,
which is what Garnacho's doing. Like
that's
you take Garnacho. Yeah, but
it's a lot of work, a lot of hard work to do.
Right now, it'll be 28 next year. If someone's willing to give us 40 mil for him, it hurts my soul to say it, but I'd take it.
You'll get 40 mil.
You'll get that. You'll get 40
mil for him. He's had. Look, I'd pay 40 mil for Rashford in what I'm seeing now, because that's for. I think a lot of managers would have been like, "Is he done?" Because actually, all the characteristics of and attributes that he's got, we all like. Every team in the Premier League will like what Rashford can do on his best day, and what they're seeing at Aston Villa, they're like, "Do you know what? 40 mil, England international." That's actually a bargain. Like he should be hitting his prime in the prime years now. That's actually a bargain. 40 mil for Rashford, you get 15
in today's money.
Competition. That's bargain. That's an absolute bargain.
Goal scorer.
For his sake, I'd say go and get a fresh start, mate. You know what I mean? Move on somewhere else. Like, wherever you want to go, fair play. What I don't want to see, because I know he's got favoured clubs that he wants to go, so I don't want to see none of that him holding out until the last minute of the transfer window to try and get a preferred move, and then we're stuck with him. But anyway, listen, it's time for him to move on. And it's the same with Sancho, same with Antony. We're going to be losing a lot of players in the summer, so we need to invest.
Yeah. The good thing is there's deals already set in place, and the other players are all on form. So you should be getting some decent money for those players.
Yeah.
Now into Arsenal. Arsenal scored 4 goals against Ipswich Town the other day. It's been a while, Steve. It's been a while since we've scored more than 1 goal.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just 4 goals. It was an excellent performance all round for pretty much every player on the pitch. Some really standout performances the other day. Declan Rice was excellent in that middle, a more disciplined role. Maybe I felt potentially some instructions from Mikel Arteta in preparations for the PSG game, where he was maybe asked to sit a little bit more. He did move forward, but usually you see Declan Rice popping off a few shots and getting in the box late. But this time he was very, very disciplined in that midfield role, winning challenges. Next to him, Mikel Moreno, who was sitting a little bit deeper and in his role against Ipswich, and was very, very good. Some lovely passes, but some really good performances from Martin Ødegaard and Martinelli. 2 players have been dragged in the comment section from a few Arsenal fans and pundits about their lack of impact and value in games. But Martinelli is now the 4th youngest player to hit 50 Premier League goals for Arsenal. showing that he is showing some consistency now, especially of late. And he seems to have changed a few people's perception of him. Maybe down to his injury had played a part in that inconsistent form, but since he's come back, he's looked really, really good. Slowly playing his way back into form and being a consistent player, a consistently good player recently. And Martin Ødegaard, I thought, was very, very good. Very unlucky not to get a goal the other day. Some excellent play, constantly busy, constantly looking to take up positions so he can play the ball. And he seemed like he was trying to thread some balls through and create some chances. So it's good to see some really good performances from Arsenal players the other day, Steve.
Yeah, you probably pretty much summed it all up there, mate. It was an enjoyable performance. It was a good performance. Okay, it was Ipswich. They went down to 10 men, but we was very good. While they had 11 on the pitch and we was 2-0 up, and I remember thinking that even at 2-0 up, it could have been 6. So the fact
you said that in the group.
Yeah,
you said that. It's not 6.
so I think the fact that it ended 4, I think, do you know what I mean? I think it was more than fair. And look, we gave some players, got some game time. Those that hasn't got some recently, and we could need them, in the next week or 2 weeks against PSG. So that was good to see. I looked at Ben White, got 90 minutes. I thought he had a really good game. I liked the way he was linking up with Saka again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We hadn't seen that for a long while. But that right-hand side, look, Timber, for me, has been, I don't know, he's up there, one of the best right-backs in the season this year for me, Jurrien Timber. I'm unbelievable. But, Ben White, excellent. So, he should be definitely given a mention. I thought Zinchenko came in, he played well. We might be having to see a little bit of him in the next week or so.
Yeah.
We would probably see him maybe against Crystal Palace. I don't know what type of game time. We may even see him against PSG. So seeing him playing in that game and having a good game was good. You mentioned Mikel Mourinho. I mean, a lot of Arsenal fans at the beginning of the season were giving them a little bit stick. What we bought him for? What has he done? Well,
crazy talk. After the geezer was out for 2 months with a broken shoulder after the first day of training. You're like, 40 million? 40 million?
Yeah. Well,
40 million.
I mean, we saw flashes at the beginning of the season why Arteta bought him. We knew. Do you know what I mean? He came in, he got injured. He was getting used to the club, new club, and that.
Yeah.
So and then since Arteta moved him, up front, and he's got I think he's got 6 goals, 4 assists in 13 games, which is like mad. Do you know what I mean?
He was excellent the other night.
And again the other night he was excellent. I mean, and the two games against Real Madrid, he absolutely was incredible.
Yeah, he was.
He was outstanding in those 2 games. And why? I mean, Arsenal fans are surprised, but I'm not surprised. We see what this geezer did in the Euros for Spain. He played a couple of games. He come on. He scored the semi-final winner in the last minute against Germany to knock them out. And he's a quality player, and he's big up to him because he's definitely proving all the doubters wrong. You've already mentioned Martinelli. Saka, thank God he's all right, because that was a ridiculous tackle. What was he doing? But
disgusting.
So overall, mate, it was really good forward. Xhaka Kiwior again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? And as we're speaking here, it seems we haven't had the greatest of season. I've moaned about circumstances and injuries and not getting into third gear, but we seem to be, with players out, slipping into that fourth gear, and that
we seem to be getting in better form. But the players are coming back. Like Martinelli's back, and he's playing pretty much week in, week out now. So his fitness levels are really good. Trossard's in the team, smiling again. I love Trossard, but when he's got a stink, he absolutely makes everyone else miserable. It's like
he makes me miserable, mate. He ruins our weekend.
He started the last 2 Premier League games. Scored on the weekend. I think he scored back to back, and he's doing really, really well when he's coming in. And I think this is what I talk about when I talk about squad games. Like I think Arteta's starting to learn that as well. Like he needs to rotate the squad more. We've seen players go down. We've seen the amount of injuries just on a global level where. There's been more asked of players in the Champions League. There's more games, and not just more games. The games are more intense because there's no chance of the second leg in the arse end of Uzbekistan, and you're against bottom of the group.
Do you think he's getting a little bit braver, Kears? Do you think he's getting a little braver? Do you think he had like an element of maybe it's because he's still a young manager? I don't know, but maybe I don't know. Maybe
I think he's trusting his players more.
It seems to like maybe. You know, when you look back at everything, did he have that little bit of fear of playing certain players and maybe players did come back too early? We're in a situation now where it's a matter of have to.
Yeah.
And because he's had to put Mourinho up front and he's had to
and Lewis Skelly
and had to play
Lewis Skelly in. Yeah.
Now he's learning to think, well, maybe I could have done this earlier.
Yeah.
But
I think it's that. I think he's, especially when you come 2 seasons 8th, and then look, these people are well aware of the noises outside. Yes, they block them out, and yes, they ignore them, but they have to hear them first to ignore them. And when they you can hear when there's tension, you can hear when media start getting on to people, and when I think Garth mentioned it a few months back. Once the media start getting onto you, that's when you're in a bit of trouble. And that puts pressures on managers to not want to take those risks. But like you said, he had to play Miles Lewis-Skelly. He didn't have to play him at left back, but there was a point where he had to bring him into a position because we were so short of players in the team. So he's moved Lewis-Skelly left back.
And then where he had to play,
18-year-old do the business. You've seen Munieri come into games and do the business as well. So yes, you can trust the players that you've brought in, and you can rotate them and play them in those other positions. So, and we've seen that, and I think it's doing the players a service as well. Like I said about Trossard, you're going to have players that want to play week in, week out, but they have to just understand it's a squad game. But you've got to show them that they've got an opportunity to play. And it did seem like sometimes Martinelli's been in poor form for the last 4 weeks, ain't scored, ain't got an assist. And Trossard's still sitting on the bench, and that is going to frustrate the hell out of players. Like you're going to feel like, what can I do? I'm watching him stink out of the place, and I'm coming on in the last 10 minutes. And that's what I think he needs to understand.
I think timing's important, isn't it, kids? Timing's an important thing in football. When hitting form at the right time, at a specific point of the season, and I think when you look at Arsenal. You couldn't get a more important time, really. Okay, the league's gone, but we're still in with a really big shout now of winning the Champions League. I never thought I'd be saying that, to be honest with you, at the beginning of the season. Never.
I keep seeing that they've put us as favourites. I'm like, who? What backstreet betting scam is this?
It's because you're the English team. They know your people bet on them. This is always the way in England. I bet you're not favourites in Spain. I bet you're not favourites in Italy. Or,
Inter Milan, they've been there before. They've been to a final. They've got a more experienced team than the players. Yeah. I think themselves. I'd put them as favourites.
Yeah, I mean, I can sit here. I can sit here and I would say I could make a good case.
For any of the teams.
For any of us. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I could sit here and personally give a very good reason why we could beat PSG, why we could beat Barcelona, and why we could beat Inter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, so could all those other teams.
Yeah.
I just think it's so close to call now. I think you look at this PSG game that's coming up, I think we're better defensively. I think we're better as a team. I think we're probably better. It's just their attacking is probably the best in Europe.
It's frightening, isn't it?
But arguably we've got the best defence in Europe. So, and okay, you take Gabriel out, but look what we stopped. We stopped Real Madrid, apparently the three modern-day Galacticos. So, if we can stop them, then why can't? But anyway, that's a little way off. But yeah, it was good the weekend. You know, it's you know, I like the fact we're hitting form at the right time, and players seem to be coming into form at just the right time.
Yeah,
you mentioned Martinelli. For whatever reason it is, you know, he's not had a good year and a half, you know, for us. But now he seems to be playing probably the best I've seen him for a long while. Whatever reason that is, you know, I don't know. You know, is it because like of all the transfer windows coming up, and there's all the talk of Nico Williams and all that, and you know, he feels that maybe I should just start to sort of show, which he shouldn't have to do anyway. He should be doing it anyway. But say the footballers are only human. Maybe he's trying a little bit more. But yeah, really, really pleasing, mate. And 4 goals, and yeah, it's, as I say, timing, the right time, play it out. And at the moment, we'll probably go and get beat by Crystal Palace or West Ham. But yeah. No, as we sit, mate, as we talk here on a bank holiday Monday, we're looking good. We're looking good.
Yeah, we are. Speaking of timing, another player who's come back in recent weeks is Bukayo Saka. One thing we didn't want is him getting injured, but Leif Davis didn't read that script and put in an absolutely atrocious challenge. And as I said on my post-match, it's lucky that he didn't slide in or go in with any real force, and it was more of a standing lunge. It didn't seriously injure him because that's what he did with just a sort of standing foot and going in for a tackle. We saw a challenge from behind a few weeks ago where Martinelli was saying the player should have been sent off. Referee definitely got it right. There's no other answer for that. It's a straight red, Garth. You see that one as well? Poor from
disgusting, mate. There's no need for it. I said it in the. I don't know if you saw it in the group. I said it's just one of those. It's so unnecessary. It's poor football. Like that's a tackle I saw in the 90s. Like, I don't want to be like back in the day, but it's really poor footballing. Like because I don't believe it's malicious. I don't believe he's intentionally gone in to snap Saka's hamstring or Achilles. Sorry, but it's just straight red. I mean, there's no question in my mind. Straight red. There's no need for it. He was never getting anywhere near the ball. Clumsy as anything. Mate, you need to sort yourself out because, you ain't getting away with that sort of stuff anymore. It was weird. When I saw it, I couldn't believe it. That's what I mean. Yeah. It's so, like, what are you doing? Explain to me, as if I was a child, what you were up to here. What's going through your brain? You know what I mean? Like, you're nowhere near the ball, fella. Like, what are you doing? Like, so, piss poor. And that's a straight red, 3 games, well-deserved 3-game ban for that. You know what I mean? Well-deserved 3-game ban.
It looks to me, that type of, that's like an Anthony Marsh's type of tackle.
Yeah, it is.
It looks to me like, you know, when you got like...
That's the best word for it, lazy. That is the best word for it, lazy. Sorry.
You know what it is? That's right, mate. When you've got, you got the best player, haven't you? You know, on a Sunday morning, he's the best player, he's the baller, and you've got some big dopey twanker, right, who just comes in and just wants to just hurt him. That's how it looks.
It was, and that's what I was saying, Steve. It weren't a clamper for me. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't one of them. Like, I don't think it was.
You think so?
It was just no.
I don't think it was. I don't think it was
he lost his head. I think. I just don't think he was thinking. It was just poor, clumsy, and lazy. I don't think it was one of them. I'm a hard nut and I'm clamping you. Like, listen. I play Sunday League. We've all played Sunday League. Yeah. You know it is. That manager, make sure you clamp him inside the first 5 minutes. No, mate.
That's cowardly, isn't it? That one.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I don't think it's. I hope not anyway, because otherwise that makes it. That's why I don't think it's malicious. Because if it is, that's absolutely disgraceful, mate. Like, that's really disgraceful, then, mate. That is. So,
I mean, if that put him out,
it's not malicious.
Yeah, I mean, what annoyed me, I think I said in the group. Do you know what I mean? It's like, don't these look? It's a nothing game for Ipswich. They're relegated. What is the geezer thinking? Yeah. You know, don't. Arsenal got 2 of the biggest games in, you know, whatever in so many years, you know, coming up in a week or 2, and he wants to seem like, to me, he wants to just like do that to our best player, and I'm like, if I'm the Ipswich manager, if I'm McKenna at half time, I'm like, what are you fucking doing? What are you doing? Do you know what I mean? A bit of respect going in here. Do you know, it makes me think, like, what is he, like an 18-year-old kid, 19-year-old kid? One of these. It reminds me of, like, you know, when you get an FA Cup match, you got, like, whoever. Do you know what I mean? Tamworth Town playing Manchester United, and you get some geezer once he gets his name in the papers by going into Bruno Fernandes and giving him a whack or something and gets sent off for the. Do you know what I mean? That's how it came across to me. There's no need for it at all. It was really annoyed me. It did. Really.
Yeah, I'd be annoyed as well. I'd be very annoyed. Yeah. I mean, easy though, because that's because the ice pack was on at the end of the game and everything, weren't it? You know, I mean, that's what I mean. I'd be fuming if I were you boys, because that's still going to hurt a little bit at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, it's going to hurt, and he's just come back from 3.5 months out with a hamstring injury, which was a muscle injury.
Yeah, you imagine that with Bruno Fernandes
on your Achilles, because that's a sore one. That is a real sore one, and there's a lot of people out there that will jump straight in the comment section. See, Arteta keeps on doing it, playing players when they don't need to be played. It's against Ipswich. He needs to be played. He needs to be played. He's come back from 3.5 months out. He needs minutes. You could see against Ipswich, where he gets a hat-trick against Ipswich any other day. He needs that sharpness, and we need him sharp in front of goal. Like these are the games where he can get that out of his system, miss 3 1-on-1s or whatever it was the other day. Because against PSG, you need him to put those chances away, like he did against Real Madrid. So
and the booze from Ipswich fans. I was like,
I know.
Oh mate, I mean, all right, they don't see the replays, and I don't know, but
them singing "Second again, ole ole, your Champions League, you'll never sing that." I was like, mate, God, all after you got a player sent off for a malicious challenge. For a horrible tackle from behind, mate.
Well, luckily we never have to go there again for a while because they're relegated. So and that bottom of the table's pretty done there. The title's pretty done. The bottom stuff's probably pretty done. But the Champions League's exciting. Do you know what I mean? It's Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, Man City, Newcastle, Villa. That's mega exciting. That is. I keep looking at that. It's a massive game tonight for Forest. They're going to be dropping back slightly now. 1 minute it's Chelsea, 1 minute it's Forest. One of the big boys is going to drop out.
Do you know the scores, lads? I've been keeping it quiet.
No.
Spurs are 2-0 down.
Just so you know.
Spurs are Forest.
2-0 down.
But I bet they're playing half a team, and they've probably dropped it. Not that it matters anyway with Spurs, but
no, they've got
their first team now.
Romero, Spence, Porro, Kuzeski, Benzema, all the best. They've got no excuse. We'd win this Premier League. That's typical Spurs.
So for me, it's like we got. Who do you think now? Right, let's just say, just for like argument's sake, this Liverpool, Arsenal, say they're top two, they finish top two. Who's going to drop out of that champion? I can't. I was having a chat the other day, and it went on for ages. You know, we couldn't like even decide. You know, because it's one of someone's going to be really drop. Haven't they?
Do you know what?
I
wouldn't be surprised if it stays as it is.
Who's sixth now?
Who's Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, Man City, Chelsea. And Chelsea sitting in sixth.
Do you think they'll drop out?
So yeah, Chelsea miss out. And look, I wouldn't be sad if Chelsea missed out. In fact, I'd be sitting here with a smile on my face if Chelsea missed out. If I'm honest,
I wouldn't be as boisterous as you two are saying that Arsenal ain't going to drop from second because there's only 6 points in it. I've seen it happen to Man United, the Champions League games. It takes a lot. You start playing a weaker team. Who you got coming up over the next 5 games?
We've got some easy games
based on Arsenal, how Arsenal are playing, how they played the other day. It's more so. I was worried
Palace
we struggled to beat Ipswich. Like I think Crystal Palace are in the same situation as us. They've got a FA Cup semi-final, which they're both eyes on. Very much so.
Is that this weekend? Is that this weekend? Isn't it?
We're playing Crystal Palace this weekend or Wednesday.
No, it's
you mean, do you mean the FA Cup on the weekend? Yeah.
So they won't
play
go
Crystal
there,
Palace.
Nothing.
Then we've got Bournemouth again. We'll see how they get over in the FA Cup game against Crystal Palace in it. So that will depend to see if they might be in the final or the cup final. But they're in good form. It's a tough team, but it's at home, Bournemouth. So look, I think the games that we've got, we should be getting some results out of these. And I'm not overly concerned like I was a little bit before about that second spot. The Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, their form just flickers. It's very much win.
They got spanked by Villa, didn't they? Newcastle.
Yeah, it's really surprised me. Newcastle getting spanked, especially after beating Crystal Palace. Was it 5-0 the other day?
Yeah.
And that seems to be the form of them as well. Like Nottingham Forest the other day that they lost, but whereas Arsenal are dropping points through draws. So yeah, I'm not saying it's completely over, but I do think second spot should be ours. Just on the Champions League now.
I'll take fifth, mate, if we won the Champions League. just for the record now.
No. Yeah, no. Well, I'm not going to turn down fifth. I'm not going to turn down the Champions League for the sake of I'd rather we got to get that second spot.
Oh, yeah.
And on the Champions League, while we're on the Arsenal side, Steve, an outstanding win the other day, which keeps this as an X. An outstanding win against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu the other day. 2-1 in the end. Yeah. And the goal we pretty much gifted them. William Saliba.
Yeah.
Daydreaming there. I don't know what was going on. People blaming David Raya, but I'm sure William Saliba looked over his shoulder just before that ball came to him. It's standard to get that ball passed out from there.
Arsenal fans, mate. Saliba can't do no wrong when he does wrong.
It is a bit like that, isn't it? It's a bit like that with Saliba. Yeah, it is a bit. But yeah, an excellent victory and some outstanding performances. The other day, Mikel Moreno, Declan Rice again, absolutely superb, getting the second man of the match in a row, and things looking good, and a tie against semi-final tie against PSG as well.
Yeah, brilliant, mate. I mean, it was absolute nerve jangling building up to that game. I know we was 3-0 up, but yeah, I woke up that morning, and all through that day, I couldn't think. I was just, please don't go out. Please just get through this. We had, especially for Richard Romano, sort of getting quotes from every single Real Madrid player under the sun.
Remontada.
Tell him how it's they're going to come back. They've got to come back. They've got to come back. So that was thrown in my face all week. So that was frustrating, but, it plays on your mind. But in the end, what was we worried about? Because I mean, we literally, it was like we were the home side. We went out there, the performance was sometimes, and this made just the way it looked to me, it just looked like men against boys. It even looked like it in the tunnel. You got Declan Rice. As I was coming out for that game, you hear him shout out, and he just said, "Come on, boys, nothing to fear here." As loud as you like. And they went out on that pitch, and that's exactly how it was. They was like, "We don't fear you. We don't fear you." And I think they went there knowing that they could win that game. And as a team, Arsenal were the better team overall. Yeah. Throughout both two games, and totally deserved it. And look, they didn't lay a glove on us, did they? They did not lay a glove. And it's just it made me proud, Keir. Sorry, it's just the the way they the aura they give off in that stadium. It was like we all got to talk beforehand about, this is the Bernabeu, this is what it could do to you. That performance was like, you don't think we've been to these stadiums before? You don't think we've had these atmospheres before? Because it never got to them. It was like waters off a duck's back. And they performed exactly like that. I mean, Miles Lewis-Skelly, I mean, what a performance. 18 years old. I mean, Rio Ferdinand
getting it from the crowd as well, giving it back.
Is he? Can we see Rio say that Ferdinand? Can I see? We need to see this because it's basketball. This ain't normal. This ain't fucking normal. Do you know what I mean? Kids don't perform 18-year-old like this in the burn bike. It just don't happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can't speak highly enough of it, mate.
Yeah.
If it wasn't Real Madrid, you'd say we just scored them. We just brushed them apart, pulled them away.
On Monday evening, I was sweating. I would have watched the game from the back of the TV with the sound off. But by Tuesday afternoon, I was getting a little bit annoyed with how much remontada I was hearing, how many videos I was seeing, and I said in my post in my match preview to the game, I said I was bricking it, as anyone could see on any of these videos beforehand. But in that match, that preview, I said, I think it's going to be their undoing. I think personally they needed that backs against the wall, that element of there's an element of people don't believe they can do it. Whereas it felt, but in the end, it felt like there was a level of arrogance, like it was going to happen, like it was like we just turn up, we're going to win it, and it was just like I was getting it was the Jude Bellingham press conference that I saw, and he's sitting there smiling, and I was just like, mate, like if you're playing for Arsenal, I want the Jude Bellingham that looks like he's going to war,
not the Matthew one.
Looks like he's going for a photo shoot. Like it was just all too much for me.
But when you compare the two,
there's a lot of arrogance. There's a lot of like it's going to happen. And I've just thought like we can use that. We can use that. They can use that. That would be against them, and we can use that. Like, come on, boys! And from the minute, they were excellent. They were excellent. So yeah, and I hope this gives them that self-belief. This gives them that confidence, because we've done it against PSG. Even in the loss against Inter Milan, we would have learned a lot, because that team is like very reminiscent of an old school type Inter Milan, an old school Italian team where they've got that guile, they've got that level of sort of wisdom on the pitch where you touch them, they're going to go down. If you do too much here, they're going to go. Like, we were naive a lot in that game, I think. Even though we had I think more possession and we had more shots on goal, we were very naive and we're too much on them. Like, as soon, of course, they're going to go down in those situations.
Do you know what I like?
I hope they've learnt from this and go into all the next games, go into a PSG team who are on better form than when we beat them earlier in the season, and really do push through and try and take this opportunity to win this competition.
You know why I think they'll do that? Is because, in those games, we won the duels. We won the battles on the pitch.
Yeah.
It was like Miles Lewis, Skelly up against Rodrigo. It was like, what? Who are you? Type of thing. If you want to go on a 1-on-1, I'll come out on top. It was Vinicius versus Timber. That was hilarious. Timber was just like patting him on the back. Never give him absolutely anything. Sleeper on Mbappe. It was like, what? Push you off the ball. Had to dive. That bit of that thing he did when, he just shepherded Mbappe out. Do you know what I mean? Just got his body in front of him and just said, and with Rice and Bellingham, it was like, do you know what I mean? It was like those players just stood up against their big players and were like, you're not getting the better of us. And that's why I'm so not confident, but that's why I fancy our chances even more now, because hopefully they can take that.
Sorry, I think we need to go back and clip Garth's. First, he's right up on Julian Timber.
Yeah, 100%.
And then clip the other one where he was like, I'm so jealous. You don't understand what you've got here.
Yeah.
You've got potentially one of the best right backs in Europe.
And the one where you two were adamant that he wasn't going to replace Ben White immediately, like he did. No. Mika, no, Arteta's got him in. He can play left back. No, he can't.
That's fair.
His best position, and without doubt, only position to play him, is right back. He can play centre back and left back. Yeah, listen, phenomenal player. I haven't watched you boys speak highly of him. Has he been that good for you this season?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
A lot of people,
consistent,
and not Arsenal fans either, are saying he's in the conversation with Hakimi and
definitely
who else for best right back this season. Like he's been unbelievable. Like Vinny Jr. in 2 games got off one shot, but Mbappe was nowhere to be seen. It's like it's like and Timber played a massive part in that.
It's such a shame for you boys. He lost the whole season because that could have been the difference for you last year. You know what I mean? Like he really could have been because he's a phenomenal player from what I had seen of him before, anyway. So, and I don't want to give him too much credit because he's an Arsenal boy.
On to Man United's victorious win against Lyon. Courageous battle. It was all over. Amorim was looking up in the director's box, thinking about what he's going to say, thinking about clearing his locker. But he didn't have to because Kobbie Mainoo and Harry Maguire saved the day. First of all, Bruno Fernandes with a penalty. But Garth, I think I sent in new messages in that game, just like, what the hell? I did a little post-match just about basically saying, what the hell have I just watched? Absolutely unbelievable game. It just reminded me. I think the reason why I enjoyed it so much is because it reminded me of the old school football games where 2 teams are just going at it, just trying to win the game. And it wasn't like, no one wants to make a mistake. The mistakes have already happened by then. Like we've seen in the first leg, the mistakes happen. It was just gung ho. And what a game it ended up being. And through to the next round as well.
Yeah, for me, I've had a bit of backlash from this from people. Personally, that's the greatest comeback in football I've ever seen. Now, it isn't the most important. Liverpool in Istanbul, obviously more important. Man United against Bayern Munich, obviously more important. But, I mean, what was it? 10 minutes to go, you need 3 goals in extra time after being 2-0 up as well and conceding 4. No, so like for me, it's the greatest comeback I've ever seen. Whether it was deserved or not is a different matter because it was never really a penalty in my mind, and Tolisso should never have been sent off either.
Oh, that was ridiculous! Though, really. Do you know what? I didn't see that, Garth, until the following day because I saw. Sorry to interrupt you, mate, but I watched the 2 goals and then I turned it off. I thought, this is over with. So. Yeah, I can't really give you good analysis on the game. But I couldn't believe that sending off anyway, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, it's shocking sending off. Absolutely shocking. So I don't care.
That's right, yeah.
Couldn't care. The game, I mean, it was a nightmare. Listen, it's papered over a lot of cracks. I still don't think we're going to win the Europa League. I don't think we've got enough about us. I don't think we'll beat Athletic Bilbao. Could be wrong.
Do you think that, so you don't think you'll beat Bilbao? You've got next.
Yeah. I don't think we'll beat Bilbao. And if we do, I don't think we'll beat Spurs in the final either. We've lost to them twice this season already, I think. So we're just not there. Yeah. We're just not there, man. We're just not there.
I get that, but losing to Spurs in a final.
I don't want that. I'd rather not be in the final.
Nah, I don't know. It's clouding your judgment, lads. You're clouding your judgment on that one. Final's a final, man. You can lose to anyone on the day in the final. It doesn't matter who you're playing. We can beat Man City in the final. 100%. So it's not like that, man. You're just Arsenal fans. You don't want them to win a trophy. That's what that is. So,
but they are genuinely piss poor.
So are we.
In finals, you're not, mate. In finals, you're not. To be fair to you, it's in finals. You've won 2 cup competitions. You won the Europa League not so long ago. In finals, you stand up. To be fair,
that was nearly 10 years ago now, mate.
Was it really?
2017 won the Europa Cup.
Was it really? Oh my God.
It was Mourinho, mate. Yeah, that's nearly 10 years ago.
Where's the time going, man?
8 years ago. Yeah. So I mean, listen, we're dead and buried. There isn't much analysis to give on the game, to be quite honest with you. We were sloppy. We got comfortable, and then they brought on Lacazette, and he did us like he done us in basically because our defense is so weak. Me and Steve were having this all day a couple of days ago. I know Harry Maguire scored, but he was an absolute travesty in the game. Ducks out of the way of the header. literally ducked out of the way header for one of their goals. So yeah, there's not much to say apart from that's Man United, isn't it? Like I don't want to it's an ethereal thing. It's intangible. There's no other club in the history of football, I don't think, that are like us with this. At Old Trafford, the crowd sucks it in. I mean, everyone has last-minute winners, but my goodness, how many times have Man United do it? How many times? You know what I mean? Like it's just over and over again. So yeah, but the atmosphere. Listen. In the space of 10 minutes, I hated football. I was never going to watch it again. I love this game, you know. Trees everywhere. So I was literally like dancing around the head. Like I said this, didn't I? My adrenaline. I couldn't go to bed. Like I was up for another like 3 hours. The adrenaline was mental, mate, mental. So that's why you love football. I don't. Game aside, this is why you love football. This is what football's about. This is. There's no other sport like it. There's no other sport like it. There isn't. I watch all sorts of sports, you know what I mean? You're not getting that in rugby. That's sort of like 10 minutes. You're not getting that in rugby. You're certainly not getting it in golf or cricket. You're not getting it in the F1. You're not getting it anywhere else. So, yeah, amazing. I'd love to have been there. It must have been absolutely spectacular. But take away the joy of it, you start thinking about the fact that we conceded 4 straight goals to a really piss-poor Lyon team. Yeah. You know what I mean? We threw it away in the first leg as well with 2 costly errors from Onana. We in reality, we should have been 4-0 done and dusted home on the bus after the 180 minutes. But yeah, Man United fans being a bit entitled at the moment. They're sort of acting like we've got the Europa League in the bag. But no.
It'd be a tough game, Bilbao. It'd be tough. I think you win it.
I feel like we lost to them last time.
I mean, it'd be
tough.
Let
me just have a look.
I genuinely mean this. I wouldn't be surprised if Spurs don't even get to the final.
Well, Bodo Glimt ain't no mucks. Bodo Glimt are no mucks, lads.
Tottenham are trash. And I'm shocked that they beat Frankfurt.
Yeah,
I'm stunned they beat Frankfurt. They barely scraped past AZ Alkmaar. They've bundled their way through. And I know Man United done this last minute win, but it was 2 poor goals conceded against Onana in the first leg. Tottenham are so bad defensively.
So it's going to be a Bilbao.
I believe there were fans that are looking at Ange even after the first season and thinking like, this is the guy. Like, he's
I think on a one-off game or like a 2-off game between Man United and Tottenham, where you're putting everything into 2 games against these 2 clubs, I can't see Postecoglou coming out on top over Amorim.
Lads, you just don't want to see it. You don't want to see it. Like Man United and Spurs on the same points.
No, it's Man United. I think it's because it's Man United, Garth.
I stand by this. I don't think Tottenham are beating Bodo Glimt. I don't think Bodo Glimt.
I don't think we're beating Athletic Bilbao. We've only
okay.
That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough.
You've got the tough of the fixtures, 100%. I don't think Tottenham are getting past Bodo Glimt.
Yes, but even if they do, we're not beating Tottenham, and we're not beating Tottenham in the final. I promise you, lads. Like, so you need to hope Bodo Glimt win because do
you know what? I'm one of these fans who don't. Tottenham don't. I don't care what they do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't care what they do.
I really don't. I know.
Stop this! It's absolute lies. Absolute lies.
I don't think Tottenham.
I was the same with the Champions League final. I wasn't beating
Lazio, Olympiacos, 20. Like, I don't think they're getting past them. I don't think they're getting over 2 legs. Like, I don't look. What I said it here. I'm saying it here. Tottenham are not beating Bodo Glimt, and they're not getting to a final. And Ange Postecoglou will leave you a favour and get himself sacked by not getting to a final. Because that will be the end. That will be Spurs fans.
But Ange did say in his second year he wins a trophy.
He said, second year, mate, I always win a trophy. And he started to twitch on that one once they were losing to every other team along the way. Like,
it's going to be tougher. It's going to be tough for whoever plays.
It's the Bilbao one for me, Garth. That's the oof. Do you know what I mean?
But listen, I know what I'm saying. We're not beating Bilbao anyway, so it doesn't matter about talking about Spurs. I'm just saying, I think you two have been a little bit. You're not watching Man United like I am, and we've lost to them twice already this season.
I've seen Tottenham.
But the way they set up, because of how weak our defence is and how slow it is,
Yeah,
they can hurt us because of the way they play.
What I can give you, I've not watched Man United against Tottenham the two or three times they've lost. Even in the cup, it was only highlights that I saw, and that was atrocious.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying, man. Like they're just the way we set up. If we haven't got if we're playing Maguire, Mazraoui, and who else did we have there? And Luke Shaw as our three centre backs, we're getting smashed.
Who played? Did Luke Shaw play against?
No, who was it? It was Maguire, Mazraoui, and
Dorgu.
No, not a centre back. Was it?
I thought you were talking about
no, the back three. I really can't think.
I'll tell you it was. Because I can remember the team sheet. It was Lindelof, wasn't it? Or was it? Maybe not.
No, that was the game just gone. Lindelof.
Oh, was it?
Well, as well.
Yeah, no. I think you're right.
Whoever it was, let's have a quick look. Whoever it was, they didn't do very well for themselves, considering they conceded 4 goals. You know what I'm saying? So let's have a look.
Euro Mazraoui.
Oh, so it was Euro. Yeah, it's Euro. You know what? Euro definitely going to be a good player. Going to be a very good player. But you can tell he's 18. You can tell he's 18. You know what I mean? He's trying backward heels in the air.
Out of it a bit, but there's no options.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that the other day because he had a bit in a league game as well. It's one of them. He needs
he'll
to
probably
this is why I didn't want Saliba at Arsenal at 18, and then there's a lot of people calling for Saliba. What?
Will Delip be fit?
I don't know. I really don't know. But if we win the Europa League this year, if Spurs or Man United win the Europa League this year, it's a disgrace because we have been dog shit, and it's just like that competition needs better than us.
Look at West Ham won the Europa thingy the other year.
Yeah, it's Conference League, mate. Yeah, but West Ham as well.
Fiorentina though.
Yeah,
Fiorentina is a good side.
I mean, but have you? It's quite weird. If we win the Europa League, one of us win the Europa League. It's 16 in the Champions League next year.
Yeah.
There was a way. I don't know if you thought there was a possibility.
That's mad.
There's a possibility that 11 English teams.
Yeah, that blew my mind. Is that if Man United win the Europa or Tottenham win the Europa? It
all comes down. So it wouldn't happen, but Arsenal would have to drop out the top 5 and win the Champions League. Chelsea would have to drop out the top 5 and win the Conference League. Obviously, one of us would have to win the Europa League. You know what I mean? And then it would work out like that. It'd be mental.
Too many, isn't it? It's too many, isn't it?
5 teams in the Champions League from England is a disgrace. I've said this many times. It should be the top 2 and the FA Cup winner should be Champions League spots, and that should be it. And then after that,
generate more money, ain't they?
Of course it is. Yeah. But what's the point? You know what I mean? It's just in the end, it's a quarter of our league.
But then what if you get like a Brighton that wins the FA Cup or something?
Yeah, good for them. They get into the Champions League.
Yeah. 100%. No, I was thinking about this last night, and I was thinking they need to do. Take away the Conference League, make it a Cup Winners' Cup.
It certainly make the FA Cup a bit more thingy, wouldn't it?
And it's got to be, and if the teams in the final are 2 teams that are in the Champions League or Europa League, then the team that gets to the semi-final, if it be Brighton, if it be Millwall, if it be in Rochdale, so be it.
All the top teams to be playing their full squads then, wouldn't they?
Look, there's an opportunity for those teams to earn a bit of money, to have an experience in Europe.
Realistically, how often is it not one of the established clubs winning the FA Cup? Realistically, I know this year, but even this year, Man City can still.
So with that in mind, Garth, is it worth it? Isn't it worth having like what you said there? Like you said, realistically, when does one of the smaller clubs win it? If that's the case, is it worth it then? Because do you know what I mean?
It's worth it. It was the UEFA Cup. Middlesbrough went away to the final in the UEFA Cup back in the 90s. I'm sorry, no, I'm not. I think that I would love to see a Brighton because this is what gives them that money injection that makes them an established club. Nottingham Forest, Nottingham Forest, massive gamble last year, this year, sorry, invested more than they could into their squad with the actual goal of making Europe, and now they're going to make the Champions League.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
It's got to be Bournemouth for up in 7th. You know what I mean? It's time. Look, the Man United and Spurs have fallen off. Who knows if we get back? Who knows if this is the start of the end of Man United and Spurs being a top 6 club? Man City are falling away, like you said you were going to do, Steve. Maybe it's time for the traditional top 6 to be reevaluated, and for some of these clubs that have been battling for a couple of years around it to be recognised.
What Nottingham Forest has done is they've shown that the risk you have to take to get into that conversation of Champions League, and that's the problem that we have, because the gap between the top four has been so big for so long. It's always been those teams, and now teams are having to take those risks, potentially get FFP, potentially get points deduction, just so they can get into this Champions League. And fair play to Nottingham Forest for doing it. And the more teams that could potentially be a different team that gets into Europe and has that cash injection so they can get better players through money and through the fact that they're in European competitions, the better in my eyes.
I'll tell you what, Nottingham Forest are one of these clubs at the moment. I know they had the problem with the allegations and stuff and the points deductions and that. But as we sit now, Nottingham Forest as a club are in a really good situation. They've got a very good owner who's like hell bent on making Nottingham Forest this big thing again.
European, you know what I
mean? And they've brought in Edu. Especially to sort of run all that.
European Cup winner.
They've got big ideas. They've got big ideas. Nottingham Forest.
Fair play to them.
If they can get in the Champions League this year to add to the money that they've already got put by for the summer. I did an article on the fact that they've had a little sneaky little chat conversation with Gregoric's his agent. And when you think about it,
why not?
Makes sense.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah, 100%. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. 100%. So all right. On
early and just get in there. That's the way of doing it. That's what Man United did for that Euro. Like, we know Real Madrid, Liverpool wanted him, so we got in there straight away.
Stephanie Ipan, prime example.
Yeah.
Show that you're actually you're serious about them, not just
Newcastle golf
stadium tours. You're actually going to put down some money.
Yeah. Newcastle got Isaac, and they got Gamiris. Do you remember? It was like, how'd they get Gamiris?
How'd they get
Tonali? Yeah,
Tonali, yeah.
We don't know how they got Tonali because he had a 10-month ban just about happened to him. So.
Yeah.
That's how they got in.
Yeah.
See, Mills, can we get it done quickly though? Yeah, like let's get this over the line today. Like,
we'll give you a Ferrari. We'll drive you to Newcastle.
I mean, everyone was a bit like, you got Tonali.
I was like that. I was like that. No,
we needed Tonali.
Man, I could have done with a Tonali.
What the hell's going on there?
Do you remember when they bought Gamiris, kids? We was like, how'd that happen? We thought we was going to buy Gamiris.
Yeah.
Pretty glad we did. And in the end, although he's a very good player, we got Rice and and that's history. But at the time, it was like, how'd that happen?
Yeah,
just quickly before we go on, I guess you're going on transfers, Keith. Just quickly, I was going to say this about Arsenal before. Arsenal fans, you do need to take a little bit because, as a Man United fan who's seen success, your players are playing well right now, but you're playing better to the sum of your parts, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? All your players are confidence high right now. They're so high that everything's going your way and everything. You know what I mean? Like, you've got some decent players, but you definitely still need reinforcements come the summer.
100%.
Which is, I'm not trying to take anything away from Mikel Arteta's done a fantastic job. Your squad is amazing, but you have got players that I feel are performing above their level, like a Marino, like a Trossard. Like they're playing so well. Fair play to the club for doing it, but to Arteta as well. But you're in that position right now where don't rest on your laurels. I've seen like Liverpool, Man United, Fergie never did this either.
No.
Don't know how you played. Get out there and get them. Yeah, get out there and get them players that you need.
Yeah,
so, like I said,
I still think Trossard will go in the summer.
The Trossards are this well for you, Keir. They're where you are now. For that next step, you need that next level of player, don't you? 100%. You know what I mean?
I've seen a couple of bits of transfer news on the page. Obviously.
What you got to do? You've got to look at like what other teams that have won things, Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues, and sort of not copy them, but you've got to try and sort of not copy. Look at their squads.
Yeah.
Look at
their game
level.
Yeah.
Look at the levels of their players sitting on their bench.
Man City, they rested on their laurels maybe because they didn't want to because of the allegations and everything. But they're failing now because they haven't invested over the last couple of years. Yeah. That is literally what it is.
And I think they had to be seen to not take
the piss. Yeah.
All eyes were on them. Every time there was a new accusation, a new charge. 50, 75, 135. People were like, what are you doing in summer there?
I mean,
where'd you buy that platter from? How much did you spend?
Like, they had an aging squad, though. I mean, they had an aging squad, so it wasn't just the fact that they lost a couple of players. They were coming to the end of their 2012, their 13-year dominance, if you like, which is normal. Do you know what I mean? 13 years, you had the Walkers, your De Bruynes, your Gundigans, your Silvers, and whoever else, you
but that's what I'm saying. Like instead of refreshing,
they
just refresh it.
Yeah.
That is. You've got to constantly refresh. Like, I'm not trying to say
Guardiola there. There's every reason to feel like if they keep on updating their squad, when's this going to end? Like he's going to keep on winning because he's just ridiculous. Like, but they didn't. And I feel like they've made a conscious effort not to look like they're taking the mick because of the charges on them, and then they can potentially
falling apart. I know, like January, let's get everyone and sign poorly because that's what happens when you're in. Like I've seen other clubs do that as well. Like when you're in, you now got to buy everyone. They went and bought that whatever it is centre back. Like he's decent, but he's not anything like super special. I still don't think Marmoush is anything special. Like etc. Not because
looks alright.
It makes it sound like something rubbish. They're not. These are quality footballers, obviously, but I don't see them being title contender footballers.
When you look at their 11 now, you're like,
yeah.
You're a bit like that.
Liverpool don't upgrade. Like if they win the league, they're not a team that really upgrades and buys that star sign as well. Especially now the fact they've signed Salah and Van Dijk on extensions, which I think is going to restrict them from going in the transfer.
100%. 100%.
Especially when you see the stories about Konate, who they won't go above 80 grand a week. And I'm like, mate, this guy's been one of the best centre-backs over the last 2 seasons.
I said to you on the show, didn't I? I said to you on the show a little while ago about Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I said they won't do nothing with Virgil van Dijk and Salah until that Trent one's sorted. And basically that got done, and then they signed a new contract straight after.
Yeah, so. and Konate looks like he's going to be leaving because they won't give him more than 80 grand a week, and that's crazy. Like you're talking about, you just won the Premier League, and you won't buy players that are currently there and have been your most consistent and best players over the last couple of years. You won't take them over the 100 grand barrier. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, and the problem as well is they can't even act like like bluff, because they tried to bluff Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah and they caved.
And people know how much money they're on as well. They're on big money.
Big money. It's 400, isn't it? It's 400 for all years. What I understand for Salah, and around that for Van Dijk as well, like 350 or something crazy like that.
That's why. I mean, they really want Isak. Do you know what I mean? Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? I've had it from like.
I'm putting this out here right now. Isak stays at Newcastle next year.
And I wouldn't be surprised if those contracts ain't have now been done. There might be a little bit of because if they had to bring in Isak and give him his wages and pay Newcastle, I'd question whether both of those contracts could have got done, or they could have got done, but it would seriously affect their future.
No one can afford Isak this summer. No,
120 million. He keeps on scoring.
No one.
He keeps on scoring.
And they're going to be in Champions League. They're going to be in Champions League.
Champions League. I keep seeing people. I saw someone say, "What Newcastle thinking?" Well, they've got a talent that everyone wants. They can charge whatever they want, and if you can't afford it, you can't afford it, mate.
And I've heard, Garth, I said last week on the show that I'm hearing it's like an Harry Kane situation where they're just not going to let him go, even if he wanted to go.
Would you exactly Newcastle? You're just going to trying to get in the Champions League? Like what? Why? Well, no, you're going backwards. You're going backwards. It's one of the sought after strikers in Europe. There's not that many strikers around.
Got 3 years, and these days usually that means an option as well of another year, so possibly 4 years on his deal to go. So mate, I'd keep holding myself without a shadow of a doubt. So
if they dropped out Champions League, then maybe there might be something where he might. But even then, as I said, I've heard that just Newcastle just are going to put the block on it.
They don't need the money, do they? They're the richest club in the world.
And that's the problem that people are going to have trying to get players from Newcastle.
But they certainly don't need the money, Garth. You're right. Spending it though is a different question.
Of course, I'm not saying.
But they certainly don't. You're right. No, you're right. They certainly don't need it.
They don't need the cash. Yeah. So
no.
All right. Now on to the transfer news. Chelsea are monitoring Brighton attacker Jorginho Rutter as they look to strengthen their strike force by bringing in another non-striker. Just Chelsea all over. Steve, it's your story. Give us a
little
bit more on that.
Is it my story?
No, it's not. It's not.
What's going on here? Like,
that's actually Tom Webber's story. It's not. It's not your
Tom's,
story.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Steve's sweating. He's like, oh my god, this is not my story.
Tom knows his stuff. So, but
well, maybe we'll get him on the show in the summer.
We'll see if we can get Tom on. Yeah. No,
this is your story, Steve. Thomas Partey's a step back away from his contract. Is it likely that he will sign though? Because I know a lot of Arsenal fans would be happy if he could sign that extension. We keep Thomas Partey as well.
Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of different, journalists coming out with different takes on what's happening to Thomas Partey. I pretty much kept with what I've been told from day one. The fact that he got offered a year +1, quite a while ago, similar to the one last summer when Jorginho got offered the exact same contract. And the situation is at the moment that it's on the table. It's been on the table quite a while, contrary to some reports. And I read something just before I come on tonight that Arteta has actually come up and said, I know what I want. It's now in the hands of Berta. So that basically tells you, I think that just corroborates my story of that Arteta wants him to stay.
Yeah. And
that contract is there. So now it's down to Andre Berta to sit down with Thomas and decide what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, but Arteta's come out and more or less put a little tick to my side of my story and said, yeah, there you go. So yeah, he's had a fantastic season for Arsenal. He's been probably up there with, Rice, okay. Especially the second half of this season has been incredible. Been outstanding. Getting back to the way he was last season. But it seems to me at the moment more people want Partey to stay than not. My information is he's not sure. He's undecided. But it's getting to that time where he has to make a decision. And I think Arteta more or less said that in his press conference, last press conference. So we'll see, mate. I don't know what you two guys think. I don't know if it's someone you think he should stay. Should he go? Do you want him to stay? Do you want him to go? Yeah.
If you're losing Jorginho, you want him to stay.
I think that's I've always been like that. If you're losing one, you keep the other. Yeah. I need a little bit of continuity. I don't want a new
unless Real Madrid or Barcelona are coming in and saying you're going to be a first teamer for us, there's nowhere for him to go. But not really. It's a downward step wherever he goes. He might play more minutes somewhere else, but
his wages are a little problem. I'm assuming that Bert will have a conversation with him about his current wages.
Mm-hmm.
He's on.
How much is he on them?
But then again, saying that Arsenal may be okay with it because if he stays fit like he has done this season,
then
the 200 grand
isn't a problem. I think that was the problem and the frustration from a lot of fans. Yeah, was that Thomas Partey can't keep fit, and it's understandable because you couldn't be relied on. You'd go 6 months and he'd be like the best player, one of the best players in the team. All of a sudden, he's out for 3 months. Comes back for 2 weeks and he's trash because he's match fitness, and then he goes out for another 2 months or another month and he's out for the end of the season, and that was consistently happening. And it was even that some of the press conferences and the answers were sort of geared towards people like Thomas Partey because Mikel Arteta made a point in saying the best ability is availability, and just when Thomas Partey kept on getting injured, and it was like I get it. It's coming to the point where it's like we can't deal with someone who will be great for 6 months, go out, come back in the team, and when he comes back in the team, you want someone to hit the ground running. But he's been out for 3 months. He's good, and Thomas Partey, when he's not good, he's not good. Misplaced passes, off the ball, like he's off the pace, and he's just no good. But this season, he's been outstanding. Everywhere he's been asked to play, he's been played at right back. He's played there brilliantly. He works best for me with Declan Rice. I said before about Declan Rice on the half turn. Although he's getting better, you've seen over the last, especially after the last 5-6 games, Declan Rice on the half turn is a lot better. But still, still not there, which is why I think it works best with Thomas Partey, which is why I think we got into the story in a bit about Zubimendi, but I think that's why Arsenal are going for Zubimendi, because it's someone who, one, is quicker on the half turn, and one could be a bit more creative from deeper, so it doesn't necessarily have to make those yards forward to create those spaces, to create those passes. Yeah. So, yeah. Look,
it's also his ability to play in so many positions. Oh, sorry. I thought you finished, mate. Go on.
Just to
yeah, it's a good point, Garth.
Thomas Partey Zubimendi comes in, Thomas Partey comes out. But for me, it's never that simple. It's never that simple. And we don't know what's going to work with Declan Rice as well. So, for me, keeping year plus year, works. What are you saying, Garth?
Yeah, it'd be a solid option. I was going to say it's the fact that he can play so many positions as well. In the modern game, it's needed. If you can slot him right back, makeshift centre back when absolutely necessary, he can play D, he can play the 6, he can play the 8. You know, what I mean, there's a number of positions he can play. You need them in your team. You don't want to throw these boys away. Like this is what I was trying to say. Like you need to rebuild, but you need to make sure you do it properly. You don't want to get silly. You don't want to do a Leeds, and you don't want to do a Liverpool. You need to get a middle ground in. You know what I mean? Don't go do a Leeds and buy 15 players, and don't go and do a Liverpool and just sit on your laurels, or a Man City. Like, it needs to be. It's a big. What's his name? Sorry, Barter. Is it? Big summer for him. Yeah, big summer for him to show what he's about. You know what I mean? So, and Arteta, obviously. So, yeah, no, I definitely got. Yeah, unless he's on 300 grand a week or something crazy like that, I'd definitely try. No,
it's 200. It's 200 grand. But the only thing it is, because he's been offered the one, just from experience of, knowing what goes on with contracts and way players and what people tell me, when you're given that 1+1, if you're a player of a certain level, still thinks you got it, you will want another wage, a higher wage, because the fact that you've got a lower contract, this could be your last contract. Yeah. So you would want a fail-safe by having a wage rise or an up in wages from the 200 grand that he is on now.
Yeah, I think
he can't ask for that. He can't ask for that.
That's what they look at. That's same with Salah. You know what Salah?
This is negotiation, calling your bluff, whatever.
Different. Yeah, Salah's an exceptional case, man. Like, not that he doesn't deserve it, but 200 grand. I'm still stuck in the mindset of like what you're bringing to the team. 200 grand for him is exactly right. That is your band. That's your band of wages.
Think about it. As Garth was saying earlier, unless it's a Barcelona, Real Madrid, where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going to get a 3-year deal from? Saudi? Yeah, that's great. Yeah, you can do that in 2 years' time, mate, and still get a 3-year deal. Like, there's nowhere you can go now where you're going to get the same as what you are at Arsenal. Yeah, you're not.
Yeah. My point with Salah was the fact that it's the same type of thing that he was offered a 2-year. So in thingy, he will say, well, okay, 2 years, I'm fine with that, right? And not a 3. But you have to up my wages.
No, I'm not saying, but Salah is the best player in the league, and he was on your.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not comparing. I'm just saying that that's the same. He would have had the same conversation.
Even if he was getting offered 4 years, Steve, he would be wanting 375 grand a week. That's what I'm saying, Salah. Yeah. Like, even if he was getting 4 or 5 years, he'd be wanting that 375 because he's the best player in the league.
Salah wants that money as well.
Oh, don't get me wrong. It's a lot easier for Liverpool to say he's your extra than Partey. Yeah. All I'm saying is Salah would have asked the same question that Thomas Partey was going to ask.
You know what I mean? Salah will be able to go, Barcelona want me. My agent on the phone. That, them.
Where Arsenal
could want me, and they will pay for me now.
Arsenal can
give me what I want. I will go. Let's stop playing games here. Like a month left of the season, and we've still not got this sorted out. Like,
Salah's got a better.
Like, if I'm Salah's agent, let's not fuck about here, boys. Like, I know you like to play silly buggers with everyone, but I'm Mohamed Salah. 40 plus goals a season. You ain't getting. That's 2 players. And look what happened to Tottenham when they had to replace Gareth Bale. Took 3 seasons to get where they needed to get to, and they bought 10 to replace him. And and yes, they got the odd player here and there out of that, but it still didn't work out the same.
What about Harry Kane?
There was actually a couple of players that Tottenham managed to get out of that. The 10 players they bought. Saldada was a poor signing, but
no, I mean losing Harry Kane. Like, obviously, look at where they are now after losing Harry Kane. Like,
exactly. Losing Harry Kane. It's not. You can't replace that. You can't. People are like, Virgil van Dijk's got to be. No, you can replace Virgil van Dijk. No, I'm not saying you're going to get a player who's as good as Virgil van Dijk. I'm saying a defender you can replace. goals, 40 goals a season, you are not replacing. Don't get twisted. Isak, nothing. They ain't doing that.
I mean, with Salah, as I say, he would have asked the same question, but Arsenal could have turned around with Partey and go, yeah, but Thomas, look, mate, look, this, where Salah's, they haven't got really no conversation to come back with Salah.
Yeah, that's it. Salah's looking at all the other strikers around and going, go on, tell me who's replacing me. Go on.
Yeah. Arsenal going, yeah, but we can bring in thingy for you, Thomas, and thingy for you. So you stay on the contract.
Exactly.
Another
player that Arsenal have been looking at and been Steve has definitely got the story. Is this you, Steve? Nico Williams? This is you?
I don't know. I've done a few on Nico Williams, so it depends what one is it.
Arsenal close to signing dream target, Nico Williams.
No, there's not much.
Not you, Cameron Smith. Jesus,
there's no agreement. No, there's no agreement. Actually, I got what
What's
that
the
was.
Latest? What's the latest?
That story
From
went
Steve
out,
Kane.
and I actually pushed the story. But if people actually took the time to read the story, they would realise that it wasn't actually me saying it. But Nico Williams close to agreement. It was that the article? The article.
Yeah,
said?
What's the latest you've got on Nico Williams?
Yeah, that was an article in Spain.
I don't want a Cameron Smith story. I want a Steve Kane story.
Yeah,
What's your latest?
My latest was it Cameron. Right, no, my latest is still the same. As I say, my latest was that Arsenal winning. It's still target. It's still the biggest target. Arteta loves him. They want him. It's an easy thing. People keep going on about the money and can Arsenal afford him? That's Arsenal can afford him. You know, there's been a lot of articles saying about from the Mail. I see one from the Times and about Arsenal's wages and how they can't afford Nico Williams' wages. It's absolute nonsense. You know these people keep going on. He's on about this mega amount of money, and on that much money on Atletico Bilbao. I mean, if he came into Arsenal, he would be on something like maybe about the 6th, 7th highest wages at Arsenal. So a player of Williams' ability, that's not a problem for Arsenal.
Really? Because he's on 210 grand a week at the moment.
Yeah, Partey's on 200. Do you know what I mean? And there's a lot of players above him: Odegaard, Saliba, Gabriel.
Honestly, you just surprised me. That Arsenal got them wages like that. I am surprised at that.
Havertz is on 285 grand a week.
No, fair play. No, because obviously you go to bonuses for the Champions League and everything, don't you? So you stay in the Champions League, you get a 5% increase and things. Fair play.
Yeah, so it's not the wages thing. I read these articles and I don't know where this money thing keep going on. I think he mentioned something once about that he wanted a certain amount of money, and someone come up with the Arsenal couldn't afford it, which Arsenal a very good situation now. Do you know what I mean? They've got past all these
deal week unreasonable for Nico Williams either on a 5-year deal with a 1-year option.
Nico Williams, any day. Looking at what he was doing in the Euros. Like, I know people are like, oh no, let's not buy Nico Williams. He's not been no good this season. Because you're an idiot. That's why you would go bankrupt. This is the perfect time to buy him. Perfect.
Although he's injured for the United game, so that's actually I'm just reading this now. So maybe we will win. You know what I mean? No Nico Williams there, absolutely destroying Maguire. So.
But no. I mean, he's still up there, and he still wants for Arsenal fans to keep a close thing in the summer. There's Aldstein as well as myself come out with reports, echoing the fact that, he's a big target of Arsenal and that, they tried to get him in the summer, but he wanted to stay at Bilbao. Kieran, you sort of alluded to the fact that, Spain won the Euros last year and he wanted to stay, play with his brother. All that was true. And they're waiting for him to see what it is. Obviously, from what I'm hearing, Berta's now, came in and he's going to be sort of, making these processes quicken up a little bit because it's getting near to the time now. It sounds to me that, Bart Burt is one of these guys who's been brought in to sort of say, look, no messing about now. What's going on?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's got that
thing
about him. He's a bit of a tough cookie from what I'm hearing.
Yes, you can see it on his face.
He's coming in, making noises. He's like, right, you want to sign now. You let us know, otherwise we'll just move on. But so just to say, he's 3-1 to keep an eye on, and he's the only one that I know of really that on that left hand side that's, apart from probably Leroy Sané, is the only other one.
Cunha popped up. They're the only 3 that I've seen, but it's always been Nico Williams. It's always been a consistent name.
Yeah. Nico was always consistent. Leroy Sané is always consistent.
Now.
Yeah. Not heard nothing on Coman. I know this one's come up. Coman. It seems like sometimes
every year.
The German
I won't name out there. Usually place the same story.
He's that player as well.
It's like they stick their hand in one part, they pull out a team. They stick their hand in another part, 4 or 5 of the same players. They go, okay, this is who we're going to link up with this time. I said to the boys, I said, there's a certain person who's always brings out Arsenal and Bayern Munich in the same. I mean, Arsenal have, I think, over the last month, have spoken to, according to this certain person, more times than Bayern Munich than I have to, I think, to my missus over the last week. So, it was, But again, it was the Kimmich thing as well, wasn't it? Arsenal in concrete talks with Kimmich. I've never heard something so ridiculous. It just wasn't true. Last summer there was. Do you know what I mean? We was knocking around.
I tell you what, though, this is when I would let party go. If you could get Kimmich in, I'd definitely take Kimmich over.
The stories you hear in the Bayern Munich one, and it's only when they really get dragged out that you think, oh, actually, they might leave. When you hear like the first ones, Kimmich's contract's running out. Oh, he's spoken to Real Madrid. Oh, he's linked with Arsenal. You're like, okay, he's just trying to get the money that he wants. Because Bayern Munich are very strict with their pay structure. They don't like to pay any more than what they've set out. And it's why David Alaba ended up leaving in the end, because but you could tell that was going to happen because it was just strung out for so long. Insults were thrown in, parents were brought in, the relationship was strained, and by the end, it was like they're going. But everyone else, it's always like, oh no, I want to leave. Oh no, stay. Oh, sign a contract. Oh no, this club's in for me. Oh, he signs a contract. So it's just one of those ones. Next story involves Manchester United. This is definitely your one, Steve. Don't do this to me again. Ollie Watkins, United. There's been talks.
Oh, it's not the one. It's not the one then. I was waiting to give my little speech on this Giovanni Leone, but anyway, there's Watkins.
Yes, look. I mean, again, it was a story that I put out. I think on Thursday, I'd heard that there was some conversations going on. It wasn't like concrete as if this is happening, this is going to happen. But I just had been told by someone very close to Manchester United and all that goes on at the club that there had been some conversations and talk of a basically would it be as Rashford Watkins stroke swap type of thing, but I don't know the actual ins and outs of it. Wasn't sort of really put to me. It was just the fact that they had a conversation, so it made sense. It made sense to people who would. I could see why that conversation would be put to somebody, put to whoever was in charge, whether that was Jason Wilcox or Omar Barada or whoever, may have had that little conversation regarding bringing Watkins the other way. So it's an interesting one. We've spoken about Watkins many a times, and I think it was on Sunday. Then I think everybody and their mother was jumping off on the back of it. It was in the Mirror, it was in the Star, it was in the Daily Mail, when it was, and everybody was on the same story. So. Yeah, thanks for not giving us a mention, all those outlets, not to... but there you go. But yeah, look, I mean, good to hear what Garth thinks on this one. Obviously, we all know Watkins is a proven Premier League goal scorer. We've spoken about his age, but a swap, look, he scores goals. And I think, despite his age, I personally think he's someone who is similar to that Jesus-y type Arsenal signing, although he's a bit older.
That
someone
step up.
who could, who could take Man United to that next level. Not he wouldn't be that guy to take them to where United want to be in the at the end game.
Mm-hmm.
But he could be that guy to take them to that 10th, 8th, 6th place.
I agree. It's a bit like for me, if he was coming to Arsenal, it'd be a bit like when Kevin was saying that he'd like an Ollie Watkins at Man City. He was talking about Man City as having a second striker as Ollie Watkins, whereas at the same time saying that Arsenal to take the step up need to buy Ollie Watkins as their main striker. That's what I was saying. For me, he's not a Premier League winning main striker.
No.
He is like if you can get him as your second striker, which is very hard because you'd have to sell a lot in terms of you're going to get game time, you're going to get this, you're going to get that. Like it's going to be very hard, but yeah, I think if you're that club trying to get in Champions League spot, I think Ollie Watkins is
I mean, he performed great for England, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? His little cameos in the Euros, he did really well, didn't he? To be fair to him as well.
He still bags goals for Villa. And you can see that they're looking to get rid. You can see that they're looking to sort of eventually part ways. He's not starting week in, week out anymore. Even when you saw Duran leave, you thought that Ollie Watkins would probably cement his spot down, but he hasn't. He didn't play prior to this week. I think he was starting on the bench for a couple of weeks. So, yeah. But when he does come back, he scores goals as well. So, yeah, no, I've got a lot of time for Ollie Watkins, and that'd be a good sign of Man United. What was your thoughts? Did you say anything on that, Garth? I
was just letting the two Arsenal fans talk about why Ollie Watkins for United. Fair play. I'd rather the money. Dead serious. I'd rather the money. Like seriously, I don't think it's a fair trade, Marcus Rashford for Ollie Watkins. So I'd rather we get 40 mil. And
what is this? They're talking about a swap deal.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know what it is. Do you know what I mean? We just.
Then Steve, that was a different article. Then the article I put in the group was that Man United are talking to Villa about a swap. Villa talking to Man United about a swap deal. Watkins for Rashford.
Sorry, I'm
pictures. Yeah, so that's a different article then, Steve. Yeah, it must be a different article, mate. Because that's why I said in it. What would you rather? Like,
I'm not doubting that could have been a conversation.
Yeah, no. So I'd rather the money. I'd much rather the money than the swap deal, because I don't think that it's they're both. For me, Marcus Rashford is worth more in the market today.
I think he is. Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, I agree with that.
I would take Ollie Watkins at Man United definitely, but I'd rather. Like with our PF, whatever it is called, PSR, PFF, whatever. With that the way it is, I'd rather just get the cash through the books, to be quite honest with you, and then and see elsewhere. Quality player though. No, I'm not denying.
Next up, I think you mentioned this one, Steve. A player from Parma, Giovanni Leone, being linked to Man United. You can tell us a bit on that one.
Yeah, look, it was a conversation I had with the same person at the same time. And he said that he was speaking to a United scout, and he was I think he said he was at the game against. Funny enough, I think you mentioned the team earlier. I think it was Fiorentina, and they was both at that game together, which I think was a 0-0 or a 1-1, if I can remember. But anyway, and he was with a Marseille scout, and they was both looking at this guy here, Giovanni Leone. I found out later, I think it was a couple of days later, that it's, Marseille manager, Roberto De Zerbi, is actually under the same agency as Giovanni Leone. So it's amazing how sometimes these things sort of like click into place, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? There's coincidences, and there's coincidences that just ain't coincidences, you think. But look, it'd be good to hear. Garth said a look. It'd be good to hear exactly. I know absolutely nothing about the kid. I've heard he's good. I've heard he can play in a back three, which again made my ears sort of point up, which made me think of the way Amorim wants to play. So it was a good story. It was a good thing that I haven't actually put an article out on it. Yeah, I need to get a bit more information on it. But yeah. Yeah, as I say, it'd be good to hear what Garth's found out about the kid, to be honest with
you. He looks sick. No joke, lads. Honestly, no joke. Apparently, Juventus, Inter Milan, Marseille United are all scouting him. 6'5", either foot. Yeah, pacey as anything. Can play the ball. Can play in a back four or a back four or back three. I mean, heading ability, crazy. And listen, highlights. All I've seen is highlights. I can't. Like, I've not seen 90 minutes from him. I can't give you a full. This is what. But oh my word, yeah, for an 18-year-old mate,
that scouting one where you can watch you can watch matches behind closed doors matches and like the mistakes they make as well. You can see them off the ball.
Yeah, that's what I need to. But from everything I'm reading, everything I'm seeing, keep this name in your books, lads. Giovanni Leone, like he could be something special. They're talking about him in Italy as in like the next Cannavaro, the next Nesta. Like that's the way they're talking about the next Basto. Like he looks sick, but he's 18. Even like he's only played I think 12 first team games so far, or 20 first team games so far. Went on loan to Sampdoria this early on in the season, back at Parma now. So there's not a lot of football to see of him. A lot of it is the under-21s. So obviously that skews all opinions when you're watching under-21s football. But my word, composed, like looks like he can pass. Yeah, honestly, keep this one in. I'm not saying that Man United are going to get him, obviously, because it looks like, from what I was reading, Juventus and it's particularly Inter Milan are very interested in him. So from what I'm reading online, so they'll probably stay in Italy. But yeah, I've seen this kid. Wow, like no joke. Wow, 18 years old. I'm stunned at it. Like in the under-21s, when you see a player like a teenager who's just far too good to be under-21s footballer, like he should be in the first team. He's that. It could composed. Yeah, like I say, and the fact he's even footed. Oh yeah, his passing, his spatial awareness, everything I've seen of him. I would honestly, if the price was right, I would urge Man United to go and get this kid immediately. But he's one of them players, he needs to play. So that's the problem with Man United are we really going to invest another 18-year-old with Euro at the back? Dangerous, but yeah, looks sick, lads. Honestly, keep your eye on him. Keep your eye on him.
All right.
I think he's only. I mean, he's playing for Parma at the minute. So, and I think they're struggling at the bottom of the Serie A. And I think he's only played for Parma this year. So, I think he was just signed. Sorry, put my teeth in. He signed for Parma in the summer.
He come from Padova, yeah.
Yeah, so this kid is like someone who's... It's quite exciting, really, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? This goes back to like the days, kids, 4 years ago when we used to find these players, we used to pick them up, we used to keep an eye on them. Do you know, this I think we should adopt this kid. Do you know what I mean? Because he's someone like he said. I think he's like, as you said, he's come from nobody's hardly ever heard of him. He's come from Moldova. Man United are now looking at him. He's just signed for Parma. Both teams are very distinctly average football teams.
They signed him in the summer, so then loaned him straight out to Sampdoria. So he's had some Serie B football as well at Sampdoria this season, but he did so well there that they brought him straight back. He only had like 10 games at Sampdoria, ripped up in Serie B. From what not seen. So an Italian football expert might be like, that's not how it happened, but you know what I mean. Like from what I can read and gather, done very well with Sampdoria, and they brought him straight back and put him straight in their first team since January. So
let's have a word with Carlo or something. Yeah, no, it's nice. Really, you could have turned around and said, "He's pants this geezer," and I would have gone, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. No,
I never did nothing about him.
Yeah, you've uncovered a gem there, Steve, for your contacts, mate. Trust me.
That's not good at doctor.
Yeah, and like literally, as well. Every YouTube video is the next big thing, Italy's next great defender. Like
is he really? Wow.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, so
and he was at Moldova last year.
Before the show came on, Man United are leading the race to sign Matheus Cunha from Wolves as negotiations. Personal terms are being discussed as Manchester United are aware of more clubs keen. 62.5 million release clause available. Good feelings after initial contract between Cunha and Manchester United. Garth, I think you're going to learn to like him. You're going to have to.
I'm not.
You're going to have to.
Because he ain't good enough. 62 mil is mental. He ain't good enough. He's not. Listen, these Wolves players, all these Wolves players are well overhyped. Name me one of them that's gone from Wolves and been banging. Name one of them. Tell me someone. Give me a player. What Wolves players left Wolves and gone and been banging? The one Man City side ain't done jack shit. The one, you know what I mean? Pedro Neto, rubbish. Like I don't want to hear about it. I don't want him at Man United for 60 mil.
Goals to compare Saka to Pedro Neto.
Oh.
Even after even after halfway through this time at Chelsea. Well, Lee Keller dropped to Pedro Neto as better than Saka. Get out, mate.
So the comparisons with Saka now is, I think someone said it very well. Stop it. Stop the comparisons.
I did a video about it.
Was it you, Kiz? Was it you?
Yeah.
It was like, no more. He's over. It was you. Actually, I remember it. I remember.
The kid's name. He's earned the right not be compared to everyone new kid on the block now. Like, you just stop it. It's
anyway,
Cunha, 62 mil, mental. Honestly, if we sign him for 62 mil, I'll be disgusted. I'll be disgusted by it.
I'm not sure about this.
His attitude is piss poor, absolutely piss poor attitude.
Yeah,
I don't need another mucky player who thinks he's something special at Man United. I need warriors, which he may be, but I need actual like in their own heads they've actually got it. They're not a loose fucking this really upset me, kid. I don't want him anywhere near Man United. This didn't move because I said you boys shouldn't sign him either. If you remember, I was like,
I didn't want him.
I said that with a smile on my face when I saw it, and I saw it on my phone. I thought, no, I've got to bring this one up. Steve, it's more on Man United. They're looking to
just on Cunha.
Arsenal's.
No, I just wanted to add a little bit on Cunha. I just wanted to say I'm not too sure about this, but one thing because the Mail, sometimes you can take that a pinch of salt with what they come out with. I've tried to look up it today, as again the only one thing I did find out is that there seems to be a little bit of doubt over this release clause. You know, we're hearing one person told me today, who I really trust, has told me it's 62.5, but someone else who I really trust has told me that he's not too. There is a little bit of thing going on whether there is going to be a release clause on this price once the team goes into negotiations at the end of the season. So he may be available for a lot less. The reason why I've been told this is because that if they'd got relegated, then it was a fact that then the release clause would for some reason be different. But at the end of the season, apparently there may not be one. So but we'll see.
Listen, if it's 25 mil or something, which it ain't going to be.
25 mil.
I'll be like, all right, let's give him a look. But not
give him a look.
Not 62 mil, I can't be.
25 mil, you're taking the meat. He's got.
That's what he's worth.
He's got 18 goal contributions in the Premier League in 28 games. You ain't getting no one for 25 mil on.
Oh, don't put this. This is the problem. You know what? This is the reverse. I'm the stats man.
He's putting up numbers, mate.
I know he is, but I still don't rate him, and I could be very wrong.
He gets up at least got a shot on target every game with probably 0.8. About 4 or 5 shots in a game for an attacking midfielder, winger, versatile.
You take him.
No. Look, I don't want him. I don't want him. This was mid-season. Do you know what?
Do you know what? I don't know what he's ever done to me that I really dislike him. But listen. Right? He come round. He took a filthy one in my toilet and didn't flush properly.
He did. Oh, did you see that? Different. No, did you see what they did to the?
Oh, Sunday League, the shoe.
Sunday League referee. No, they've been swinging.
Oh, mate, someone would have got hurt, mate. Yeah, did you see that, Steve? Mate. Sunday League players shat in a referee's shoe, like in the changing room.
It was dog poo.
So again, was it dog poo?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, mate, see, I don't know what's worse. That's actually worse than someone actually taking a dump in it. Like, mate, and it's proper as well. It's like all over. Like, nah, mate, nah.
I've been swinging. Disgraceful, whoever that was. Disgraceful. Man United potentially hijacking Arsenal's pursuit of Espanyol goalkeeper Juan Garcia, Steve.
Not really much to say about this one, mate. Again, he's someone who I've been told that they're looking at very closely. Someone that's Amorim likes. They're calling him weirdly the Messi of goalkeepers. Recently, I've seen in a couple of articles. So apparently, very good on the ball, which is obviously no surprise in why Arsenal want him.
Shots. I
mean, he's very decent. He's very decent. But Arsenal got a valuation for him, and they made a bid for him in the summer. and they literally turned it down. But Arsenal have had conversations since then, and there was, agreement with personal terms done for Garcia. But since then, United have had the Onana problems. I'm hearing that, Manchester United have had more conversations with representatives of Garcia and of Espanyol. And I'm hearing that, if possibility that they could be offering him first team football, and they could offer the club the money that they originally wanted for him, which would Arsenal apparently are, adamant that they will not offer more than what they've offered in the summer.
David Raya in there. What do you need to be paying 30 mil for a goalkeeper?
Exactly. So they're keeping adamant. So it's basically it's in Garcia's hand. But looking at it from like an unbiased thing, I think Man United probably may if they are looking for someone, then they can give him the number 1 shirt. It seems to me that they could hijack this deal.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah,
and we need him as well. We can go from a messy goalkeeper to the messier goalkeepers. That'd be nice, because the other geezer's a piece of anyway. Like
out there, mate. That was class. It was so obvious, but I don't know where.
Yeah, it was there. You know what I mean?
It got me, mate. It got me.
Yeah, because that clown in goal for us at the moment. Yeah, no, I like this Juan Garcia. When I heard you were getting him, I was a bit like, that's a bit weird that he'd take like backup right now. Like, it's been weird to me since that deal's been like, because he's on the rise. Unless there was because we all know Arteta, unless there was a conversation like, no, mate, you can challenge for David Raya's spot. Like, you can challenge.
We don't need that again.
Yeah, you'll get some minutes.
You're used to loving David Raya now.
Yeah. Otherwise, I've got no idea why. Like, listen, Arsenal are doing magnificent at the moment, but why that particular player would go Arsenal right now if there's first team football available? That doesn't I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't get it. You know.
You can imagine Arteta, can't you, having a conversation with Garcia? Yeah, you're both number 1.
Yeah, you're both number 1.
You're both number 1. Garcia, but excuse me, I've heard that bollocks before.
It's like never let them know.
I'm off to United, mate. I'm off to United, pal.
Yeah, never let them know your next move. Yeah, is there's a picture of Arteta next to it. It's just like, nah. That's just we need a bit. I can't deal with this. We have emotional connections we build with these players. Yeah, you can't just be shifting about. Like, come on, think about us. More news on Man United being linked with Netherlands and RB Leipzig forward Xavi Simons this summer. German club want around 70 mil to sell the 21-year-old. Did you say
yeah.
Oh, in a heartbeat. He's generational talent in my mind. Xavi Simons is
class.
Yeah, generational for me is Xavi Simons.
It's clear though that he's going to be going somewhere at least in this summer, if not at the latest next summer, because it was quite surprising that he went to RB Leipzig. He's a player who's been to Barcelona, PSG, smashed it at PSV. I think PSG bought him back only to sell him on to RB Leipzig, and RB Leipzig
literally
a permanent deal. And he's just one of them players. Whenever you play Netherlands or you play Leipzig, he's busy. He's in and around, popping off shots. He's just a constant danger. Quality player.
Yeah. Is there actually any truth to this, Steve?
It's Sky Germany.
Yeah, I mean, Man United and a load of other clubs. I mean, Man United have definitely shown an interest in him. That's been going back since last summer when I think he signed a contract, didn't he? And also when he was at PSG. But look, this is possible. Look, I mean, if you had a dictionary and you could have selling club put next to it, you'd have RB Leipzig put massive capital letters by the side of it.
They're because like they are, and Ajax is the king.
They are the kings of the selling club. RB Leipzig, and from what I'm hearing, the Cisco will go in this year, and they're not, and Xavi Simons looks like he was go. They've both spoken out about possibly leaving in the summer. So the Leipzig owner will be rubbing his hands again, with his bank balance again. They do get a good player though, don't they? They seem to provide a role and that. And others.
But yeah, what a signing that'd be. Because with our formation, the way he played with the 2 10s,
perfect.
My word, that'd be perfect.
He plays there for Holland. He plays in the 10 for Holland eventually.
Absolute magnificent. But I can't see it because, our financial situation ain't great. Even if we sell a load of players, that'd be a big, big chunk of what, 70 mil plus the wages and everything. Like, I'd love it though, honestly. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
They probably got. We did this before in Arsenal season when the season they came fifth. They've probably got the two lists. They've got the Champions League list. They've got Europa League.
Yeah.
And Xavi Simons is going to be that Champions League list, isn't he?
I mean, I think David Ornstein gave he gave an interview the other day on a video that I was watching, and I can't remember what club his name, but he said these are the 18 targets for Chelsea, in the summer, and that's what it's like, people. When these you keep hearing these players. You think, why are these? I've seen people. How can this club be interested in all these players? They are. They do look at all these players. They are on that list. They are scouted. They are being watched. They are talking to their representatives. So, and I think what David come out with the other day in his interview for NBC and wax off I think it was about 16 names for. I can't remember if it was a Chelsea or a Liverpool they was interested in. So. Yeah, it just goes to show,
they've got a small squad, Chelsea, so 16 players sounds about right. They're looking at,
16 players would take them to even 100 man squad, a small army.
It's a great point. It's a great point. You've got probably the most respected in my eyes, transfer journalist on the planet, and he's, it was good to hear him saying, because sometimes people think. Why you keep mentioning how can this player, and fans don't get it. Fans don't understand it. But fans and clubs, talk to scores of players during a window. And it's our job to bring them to you and to tell you who you are, because you might sign them.
Yep.
Plus, people don't seem to understand that an inquiry doesn't mean anything at all. It can just be a friendly phone call. So what's with Xavi Simons at the moment? How much we think what you know what I mean?
Just 60 euro, under 70 euro.
That's how so many transfers got done, weren't it? It looks like Cantona joined Man United, weren't it? Whatever his name was, rung up the Sheffield Wednesday. I can't think of his name now. Leeds, weren't it? Well, it was Leeds, whoever it was. Rung up Fergie to ask about Dennis Irwin, didn't he? And Fergie was like, no. And then, how about Cantona? What's he about? Oh, no, we're Howard Wilkinson, that's it. We'll probably let him go. Oh, we'll take him. It's just things happen.
Same thing happened with Ian Wright. David Dean rang up Crystal Palace, purposely asked him about, not Brian Dean, who was the other striker? Come on, Steve. Mark Bright.
What's that?
Purposely asked him about Mark Bright, knowing that they would say no because he was there. Crystal Palace, God for them. There's what about Ian Wright? Oh yeah, we should send Ian Wright for a deal. They were like, oh yeah, sweet, that's it. So
some of the stories I hear, how things get done, and it's a fun business to be in, as we know.
Yeah, so soon we will be doing a show which will be solely on transfers. We'll be talking about all the latest transfers, news and rumours, latest stories that Steve's got, and obviously as well, get in the comment section and ask your questions on players as well, and we can have a little Q&A on that one as well. Last couple of stories before we go. Another story from Steve, Jeremy Doku and Bernardo Silva, who's been trying to exit Manchester City for at least 3 or 4 seasons now. Could be off in the summer.
Yeah, quite a few. I mean, I had a conversation with someone who's very close to Man City, and very interesting conversation. Spoke about a lot of things. One of the things was about the players that could be leaving. We all know already about De Bruyne's leaving. There was talk of Doku. We was talking about Silva. There was talk about Kovacic. Walker obviously is on his way, but Silva, Doku and Kovacic were the most interesting ones. Doku I'm being told that he's quite unsettled there. And he hasn't really sort of settled in since he's arrived, which, looking at the way he's performed on and off, I can probably see that. I'm being told he wants to go back to Spain. Barcelona.
He was never a pet player, Steve. That's what I said from day one, if you remember, with Nath. And he was like, no, he's well good. I'm like, it doesn't matter how good he is. He ain't a pet player, mate. He won't conform to a system in any. No. Like he's a maverick. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not surprised. Yeah. Oh, it's a 10 o'clock stop tonight. He only put 20.
On an hour, every hour after 9 o'clock now. Warnings, pure warnings. We've only got one more story left after this one, Steve. Don't do this to us.
But yeah, I've never rated Doku as highly as a lot of people have, to be fair. I don't know what you think about him, Keir.
He's like an Alan St. Maximum. He's like a better version of St. Maximum.
Yeah, that's a great way to say it. Oh, he's back. Steve's back.
Yeah. It just shows you how long tonight's show is, lad. You know, you're getting double bubble here. You know, you're making me put double in the meter. So I'm going to start charging for this.
We will have to start charging. We're going to be around the paywall, people. 479 people. Best be 479 new subs, 479 retweets and likes at least on this post.
100%. Yeah, I mean, also, those players, Grealish, is someone that I was literally told by the person I spoke to was like, yeah, Grealish is going. So we've heard Tottenham interested in Grealish. We're expecting to hear about other clubs interested in Grealish. I'm hearing that City are willing to let Grealish go. There has been talk about from some people I'm talking to that Grealish wants to see his contract out, which from memory it runs out in 2027. So, yeah, he's on big wages, Grealish.
That's a long time to run down your contract and not get game time.
Big wages, though, really big wages at City. So we're seeing where that Walker's gone. Kovacic, I've been hearing Spurs are looking at Kovacic. So, they're going to be revamping their midfield. But I think that's more about Spurs inquiring more than Man City wanting to let him go. Because I think a lot of fans have sort of taken to him. And he's been performing quite well. So we'll have to see what happens.
Kovacic is that 6.5 kid, that's what I'm saying here. That's that champ 6.5 Kovacic.
Yeah.
All of a sudden things start going wrong, you know what I mean?
Get rid of Gundogan. Why you keep Kovacic? Yeah. This is a Thomas Partey situation for me.
Yeah, big summer because like we're talking about the goalkeeper. We spoke about the goalkeepers last week of City. You know, with Ederson and Ortega. You know, there's a possibility that they could be moving on. We've spoken about the Benfica goalkeeper. Was it the Benfica and the Porto goalkeeper?
Yeah, Diego Carlos.
No, was it?
That's different one. Benfica goalkeeper is the young kid, isn't it?
Andre Silva. No, not Andre Silva.
Turbin, is it? Turbin and
Andre Silva's the centre back at Benfica. He's decent as well.
Who's the Porto goalkeeper?
It is
Diego Carlos. Diego Carlos. I'm sure it's Carlos. Costa. Costa.
Yeah, so they're looking at them as well. So yeah, as I say, I say this every week. You know, it's like it's massive. This summer's going to be very, very busy.
It sounds like, don't it?
Yeah. Really,
Man United have already made their first sale with Jadon Sancho after they can confirm he will be joining Chelsea on an obligation to buy after them cementing the 15th spot. Now they've cemented 15th spot.
So the 5 mil thing, they can't do that now then?
No. The obligation to buy is done now because Chelsea.
I don't know. I think they've written in, haven't they?
What came on?
Yeah, there's the thing. There's a 5 mil exclusion thing that if they can pay me out 5 mil and send him back.
Yeah, I don't think that 14-15 thing comes into that. Yeah. I think it's just saying it's been written in.
Yeah.
No, the obligation was if they finished about 14th, they'd have to buy him. That was the deal. But apparently, there's also something written into it that says that Chelsea can pay Man United 5 mil and break that obligation.
It's still very techy about like the actual information on that.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of quite prominent people who have come out and said that they could possibly do that. We'll see.
Yeah, well, Chelsea, anything can happen. What was the other one? Oh, Manchester United, one of their main striking targets this summer is Liam Delap.
Yeah.
And finally, Real Madrid are keen on Spain midfielder Rodri. I've also heard rumours that they're looking at McAllister as well of Liverpool. Heard anything on that one, Steve?
And Zubimendi as well, isn't it? Apparently, by all accounts. No, Rodri's ridiculous. I don't know where that come from.
Yeah, I said Rodri's ridiculous.
Rodri's ridiculous. What was the other one?
Just paid him for a full year of an ACL injury. He ain't going nowhere. Loyalty. All players have that loyalty. Even though they have to pay him, they have that loyalty. And clubs have that loyalty. Like, he's just won the Ballon d'Or, mate. Like, you ain't going to sell him.
They just had a big, big furore, hadn't they? Rodri and Real Madrid with Vinicius and all that. I can't see.
Oh, yeah. Snotty little brats, weren't they? Didn't turn up to the awards ceremony because Vinicius Jr. didn't win it.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. But the Zubimendi one, look, I'll quickly touch on that before we go.
Yeah.
The situation with Arsenal was, again, nothing's changed. You know, Arsenal feel that this is done. You know, that he will sign. All the information, all that needed to be done is done, apart from, obviously, Zubimendi signing on the dotted line. Mm-hmm. We're hearing these rumours of that Real Madrid are interested in Zubimendi. Few people come out with it.
That's the connection to Xabi Alonso, isn't it? Anticipating will take the job.
So I'm from what I mean, I'm not hearing off of anybody from my people who I trust about this Zubimendi and Real Madrid thing being something concrete and solid. But what I will say is that I think, I don't know, maybe they've got this from the Alonso thing, and the fact that it looks like from all the talk from Bayer Leverkusen, from the CEO, from Bayer Luka, the way he's talking, it does seem very likely that Alonso will be the manager of Real Madrid at the beginning of the next season. You know, if you read into what he's been saying, and from what Real Madrid are saying, obviously Ancelotti looks like he'll be leaving at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And Zubimendi and Alonso are like brothers, aren't they? You know, the way they've both been brought up in the same club, same areas, and they've both said very sort of complimentary things about each other and what they think of each other. So whether people are jumping off the back off of that and just assume that he's going to go to Real Madrid because Alonso will be the manager. And there's always the little thing about Real Madrid, what Zubimendi did last year, summer, to Liverpool, when Liverpool thought they had him.
Yeah.
You know, so...
He's also done that to Arsenal as well, where Arsenal felt like they were getting very close to Zubimendi, and he turned around and then sort of...
So there's that aspect of it.
You don't want him anyway. He's been cursed. Bugs on his food for life. You don't want him anywhere near.
But as I said, Arsenal think they've got more or less this done. You know what I mean? They're saying
anything can happen in it, Steve.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. But
I'll tell you what, one of you two boys need to stop Owen Hargreaves talking, because he's saying that Bukayo Saka should join Real Madrid.
They need to relax on that one, mate. I knew this was coming.
That's the end of the show. That's the end of the show.
This happens.
Just join Real Madrid, do a Trent Alexander-Arnold, and run his contract down until 2027. Then join Real Madrid.
Everything I said about Liverpool fans and Trent Alexander-Arnold, I'll take back right now. Dude, how dare you say that, Owen Hargreaves? At least let us win a Champions League and 2 Premier Leagues first, you bastard.
Just shake of it.
Yeah. Piss off. Just trying to enjoy football games, enjoy life as Arsenal fans, yeah? Like, don't ruin it for us. We don't want to be that selling club.
Do you know what I said? I said that Real Madrid could take any player. Saka, for some reason, I feel like would stay with you, even if Madrid come in for him. I don't know why I don't know him like you boys do, but I just don't feel like he would. He would do it and move off to Real Madrid.
That would have something to say on it. Yeah, and I think they would talk about the loyalty factor. He's got good values, that kid. So he's not a kid anymore. He's a...
That ain't all that anyway.
See that. You can see that from the way he carries himself now. I said it on the show a few times. Last season he's come back a man, and this season, like even the press conference, he gets asked questions. Well, like he's a different. He's got that little bit of attitude that he needed.
How quickly would he go from world class to international class if he did leave, though? You know?
What shit? Over the hill. There's food, they say.
Good anyway, you know. We're just hyping him up, you know. I mean, like all them Liverpool fans, I couldn't find it. Trent can't defend.
Yeah. Trent can't defend. Yeah, they soon forgot about that when he scored that winner yesterday. And finally, Steve. There's been some rumours in the paper. Obviously, we saw a couple of weeks ago, as soon as Berta came in, rumours about Gyökeres, but more recently, it seems that Sesko, the news about Sesko is sort of to eke its way back in again. And it seems like Arsenal are still keeping tabs on Sesko, and potentially could be a move for there in the summer still.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of come to past that that Berters does like Gyökeres, and he's the one. He's his number one target. We all know that when Edo was there, that Sesko was the guy. He's the one that Arsenal have done the most work on.
Yeah.
And yeah, look, he could still very be an Arsenal player in the summer. He's way up there. He's very much liked by Berta. He's very much liked by Arteta, and Arsenal feel that he's someone who could fit into the squad and fit into Arsenal's style of play. It's just that there's a lot of strikers out there who Arsenal could have. I think Isaac and Delap are players that they're in, Watkins and that. But yeah, look, Sesko's up there. Sesko's someone who's been on Arsenal's radar for a long time, and he still is. And he's definitely one to keep an eye on. Although the word is now that it seems that Gyökeres is the one that Bert has advised Arteta to sort of make as the number one. But again, that's not to say that Sesko is not very, very, very close behind that. So we'll have to wait and see.
All right. Well, make sure you join us every Monday for all the latest transfer news. It could be between an hour, could be 2 hours, could even going on to 3, which it is tonight. But you always get your transfer news in at the end. Make sure you join us next week. If you are new to the show, press that like and subscribe button. And you're watching on YouTube. If you are watching on Twitter, press that like and press that retweet. It all massively helps. You can find me on the Transfer Exchange Show on TikTok or Kieran AFC. Find Steve on Twitter. You can find his tag name Steve K. You can find him on there and ask him questions about any of the articles that he drops. Make sure you join us weekly on the Arsenal Show, 8 o'clock on Tuesdays. We'll be discussing everything Arsenal. And of course, thanks for joining us tonight, Garth.
Pleasure as always. Thanks for having us.
And thanks for joining us tonight, Steve.
Pleasure, mate. Really enjoyed it. It's bumper edition. Very good.
All right. Peace out. Oh, bumper edition. Peace out, people. Stay safe. And wash your hands.